Lord in heaven, this OBS, man.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so if we do see, Arcade end up playing Diana, I mean, that's going to be a little bit telling. Diana has absolutely amazing gun signatures.
Definitely. And most importantly of all, people are still trying to get used to it. And so, definitely it comes down to whether or not Alec Curiosity knows enough about hitboxes of those signatures to be able to get used to anything Arcade decides to throw at him.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Just because Diana, pretty good move speed, pretty good dexterity, I mean, just middle of the road stats all around. So you can switch it up. You can do a whole bunch of different play styles within your weapon sets. And particularly, I'm expecting to see a lot, what with Arcade's great use of the space control that guns afford, that side signature from guns. It's absolutely amazing. We didn't really see Egg Soup pull it out in that last set, but I personally believe it's one of her strongest tools available.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember when I first saw that gun signature, I think it was a little bit of hesitancy about how useful that signature would be because while it is really fast, it unfortunately, it doesn't quite have the large hitboxes that maybe some people might have first expected when it appeared on stream. It hits a little bit more downward, but definitely, players who are skilled and know exactly how the signature works and what the recovery frames are can make great use of that, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think we're getting word in that we're just about ready to shift on over.
All right, with that, I'm going to hop back over to the caster desk. Thank you guys for your very insightful analysis, and I'll be looking forward to hear what you guys have to say about this match after this.
Thank you.
What is up, Sparky? How's it going?
I did not even think about Egg walking into that mine to deny the unarmed combo.
Absolutely. I legitimately was like, yo, that's really smart. That's really smart and good. And I mean, this is why we have these analysts, like guys like TWK and part of the Creed, to kind of delve deeper into those things that we don't have time to talk about in match. And they get a look at it from just another standpoint and say, you know what, that's actually really smart of Egg to take that damage so he can't get the whole combo, things like that. Absolutely brilliant. And once again, that's why we like those analysts. But I think we can give them the good to go.
I'm ready.
You ready? I'm ready. I'm excited. I don't know a whole lot about Arcade. I know he's been making waves. I believe he was something like top 10 seed. What is he right now? He's seeded number 2 right now. So he's been working that rank ladder.
He's been on that grind.
He's been doing his biz. So we'll see what that means. He's got Diana already ready to go, and it looks like they're hopping in. Alec Curiosity versus Arcade. Bodvar versus Diana. And this is actually
3, 2, 1, brawl.
So we're gonna see a repeat of characters from last game. Let's see if we'll see a repeat of the results.
Yeah, it will be curious to see. Alec Curiosity, first person to pick up the sword. He plays sword very differently from Twilight. You're gonna see a lot less Sayer just knocking him off the map, but to that regard, Arcade's probably gonna play Diana very differently than Egg Soup did. Health relatively even. Arcade fishing for these dares, and Alec very patiently waits at the bottom, gets the downlight, can't get the dare gimp.
One of the things I really like about Alec is that he can be so explosive. I jokingly call him Alec Periosity, but that is so far from the point sometimes. He will wait for his moment to go in, and then he'll go in and just completely explode and have these huge strings and keep the aggression up.
Absolutely, and you see him throwing basically everything, wants to keep Arcade off the map, gets the Sayer, and there it is, finishing off that Diana with basically no damage. And not to call Alec Curiosity Berry because he's far from it, but it is that he patiently waits for the right opportunity to go in, and once he is in, he is gonna do everything he can to stay on top of you. And right now, he's struggling to get away from these guns from Arcade. Arcade managing to rack up quite a bit of damage. He's got the guns. Can he keep Alec off the map? No. Drops the recovery as well.
Oh, almost picking up. Alec wisely throwing that weapon to deny it.
All right,
And
Alex.
here's that explosion from Alec right there.
I like those weapon tosses. Wasn't able to do a whole lot with the weapon he had, so he was just doing a toss to keep Arcade in that stun lock. Arcade backing up, has the guns, tries to use the full range of that Sair, but I don't know if he's had enough time with Diana to get used to that distance.
Yeah, I feel like one of the strange things about Diana is, oh, and Alec is still gonna stay in there. One of the strange things about Diana that I think most people are not maybe ready for yet is the huge range on those signatures. And there is the kill from Diana. Arcade is in the orange. Alec coming in with a fresh stock. Looking to deny weapons. Alec doing a little bit of work. Grabbing that sword. Bringing Arcade into the red without being touched. Keeping up that aggression, looking for the read.
Wanted that neutral sig, but Arcade was waiting at the bottom. Got him with the unarmed string. Not the full boo string, but still a string nonetheless. Brought Alec to the yellow. And Alec with that downlight cider is going to knock Arcade off the map. Can he finish it off? Doesn't get the Sair. There it is.
You're seeing this next stock be a repeat of the first. Alec in a little bit deeper yellow. Arcade coming in on his final stock. Let's see if Arcade can build up that damage again.
Interrupted mid-side sig with that weapon toss. You're seeing a lot of weapon tosses coming out of Alec, and I think it's just his way of adapting to that gun range. Recovery connects, but Alec is not going to be taken out just yet, and he's managed to even up the health despite that stock advantage. Arcade in a lot of trouble, but Alec on top of that mine.
Looked like Alec was trying to dodge through it. A curse that I have so often in ranked.
Ooh,
oh, and
bombs
gets
himself.
hit by his own mine, looking to try and catch that, I guess.
He's fishing for that dare. If he can get it, it'd probably take a nair at the top to finish off Arcade. Gets in, gets a weapon toss, can't finish it with a neutral light. Arcade though,
We're seeing that
spacing
huge
him out.
Sair spacing.
There's the recovery, and Alec even in health. Can Arcade finish it off? Ooh, Alec
There
with
it
the
is, the dodge through
downlight.
downlight.
Oh!
Oh! The point blank mine. Alex spacing it well enough to keep himself out of danger. That danger was close. He went right in for it, and he takes the first win.
Absolutely takes the first win, but that doesn't mean that Arcade is bad by any means. Arcade got really close to winning that out, just a little bit more, and he could have done it. He managed to even up the health with those guns, and we see him switching up guns. He's gonna switch to higher dex Cassidy, as well as he's gonna have that hammer on his side.
I think Cassidy is absolutely absurdly strong right now. I think Hammer is really, really solid. We have the neutral light coming out in 3 frames for startup, which makes fighting unarmed against it really, really tough.
Alec, not even afraid of the guns right now, wants to stay on top of him, but now he's gotten the distance, so he has to back up. Looks like he's throwing
Look
both
at
weapons.
that weapon change up.
That mix-up, Arcade had no idea which weapon Alec was going to end up finishing it off with. He's got the sword now, but health's still pretty close. Arcade spacing it out, gets a Sair into a side light, gets a dare, and the side sig. Arcade doesn't get the second side sig. Alec, with that weapon toss, gets the neutral sig.
Fantastic read. Absolutely reading him for days. Perfect spacing, perfect execution. Textbook neutral sig from Bodvar right there.
And Arcade, can he even it up right now? He's looking for the Sair. Doesn't get the side sig read. Alec, there's one sig, and that will finish him off.
I'm not sure if that first side sig was a really hard read or maybe a missed input.
I mean, maybe he was going for the jump recovery, the instant recovery, but didn't get the jump off in time. I'm not sure, but right now Arcade has thrown away his weapon advantage, and Alec is taking furious advantage of it. I don't but he's got the weapon tosses. He's trying to do that weapon toss into the unarmed again. He's trying to get in.
I can tell you that is frustrating as a gun player playing against constant weapon tosses, but I can't help but respect the way Alec is using them to get in reasonably safely, especially with that huge hitbox from the thrown hammer. Look at that. that neutral.
And the
light.
neutral sig gravity cancel. But oh,
There it is.
side sig
Alec
through the side line.
Furiosity living up to his name.
What a monster. Oh, Arcade not able to answer back just yet. Alec away from that mine. Can he get the weapon toss? Weapon toss. Arcade wants to hit Alec into the mine. Alec not even afraid of the mine. He's just dancing around in that tiny space that he's given. Can Arcade finish it off? Downlight combo. Doesn't get the side stick. Alec is staying on top of him.
Alec is so good at keeping Arcade on his heels.
Arcade trying to use these max range sigs now. Wants that spacing. Side sig not gonna connect. Arcade trying to get some sort of gravity cancel neutral sig read. Not sure.
As Alec was way below him. I'm not sure if that was a missed input as well.
Oh, and
That
the
side
side
light is
light.
enough to take
That is
him
a
out.
lot of damage. I just want to touch on that weapon tossing from Alec. Like you were pointing out, we didn't have time for it because they're busy going at each other. But Alec, very intelligent with these weapon tosses. He's following up all of them. If he's not going to follow up directly with unarmed, ooh, the BM
That
taunt.
was a taunt. Alec feeling very confident, I guess.
I mean, he's got plenty of health, and there it
There's
is.
the scoop.
Not gonna taunt that time. He knows. You know what? I taunted a little early last time.
He took his one and was not gonna mess that up.
But Alec, very, very well played. Takes it 2-0 over Arcade. Very quick, very clean. The adjustment to Cassidy, I think, even though in pure damage numbers, it looked like Diana was the better option. I think Arcade was just generally more comfortable with Cassidy. And in the end, you gotta play your main when it's down to the wire. And I can't fault Arcade for switching to Cassidy by any means. Any words
Absolutely.
before we switch to the analysts?
Oh, we can go ahead and switch to the analyst now. The last thing I would say is play what you're comfortable with. Do what you want, but play what you're comfortable with.
And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a look at what part of the Creed and TBK Smash have to say. How's it going, everyone? What do you guys think of that match?
Yeah, as predicted, Arcade was playing his Memoria. Sorry, not Memoria. His Diana. And trying out that gun bow, but of course didn't quite work out just as well as he wanted to, and had to make that switch later on.
Yeah, definitely that first match didn't work out as well as the second. I definitely agree with that change to Cassidy. A lot of the familiarity of the signatures and probably the quickness of them as compared to a lot of Diana's served him really well. He did a much better job staying on top of Alec as far as the damage gaps went. He didn't fall as far behind. Because I know early on in that first match, Alec kind of jumped out ahead with a full stock lead and a little bit of damage as well, very early on.
Yeah, and Arcade was showing his strength. After that first stock, Arcade figured out what he needed to do, spaced him out, and used those great gun air moves to try to rack up a ton of damage. And he was doing well right at the beginning, but Alec, of course, adapted quickly and knew exactly what he needed to do. Get right up in Arcade's face, and those really quick weapon throws were great for stopping any and all momentum Arcade got.
It's so good. I mean, that just threw him off his game. It gave Alec pretty much all the traction that he needed, even if, as I heard Duke saying, he converted off of almost all of those into some significant damage, which adds up insanely quickly. But even if he wasn't able to, even just that 1 or 2 damage, that adds up as well. And when you think about it, it's like, all right, I need to play against guns here. Well, what has more range than guns? Weapon throws.
Yeah, definitely. If we're looking at sort of play-by-play things, one interesting thing that happened was Alec's second stock in game 1, where he used a full speed dodge to try to go over mine, but Arcade did a fantastic job at placing that mine in the direction that Alec was headed as opposed to where Alec was. And that dodge was just a bit too early to try to go over that mine, and he, as soon as he got out of his dodge frames, was immediately hit by it.
Yeah, that was definitely a smart read, good play by Arcade. Just kind of noticing a lot of the dodging tendencies and habits of Alec and kind of applying that to where to place that mine. And since we are talking about mines, it was a pretty interesting situation on that last match where they had the two mines on stage, and we were just talking about it. I really liked the situation that created. It kind of forced all the play to the edge, and both players were just kind of like hanging right around there, neither willing to back off because, it's towards the mine, and oh no, what if a random weapon throw ends up knocking me into it?
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was just a really good portion of the match.
Definitely, and it's interesting. It's always interesting to see how players adapt to suddenly being in claustrophobic situations, like when they were both forced to fight on the edge because of those two mines. I don't think either player felt like they had any significant disadvantage. Both of them knew exactly how to play in that situation, but it definitely made the pace of the game a little bit more intense.
Yeah, it looked very solid on both parts. I don't think anything too significant even came out of it. Maybe just like trading a little bit of damage here and there, but nobody came out ahead of the other in the end of that one.
Yeah, but overall, Arcade is from EU, and he mentioned that he didn't really get a great chance to necessarily warm up in US like he wanted to. So that was one of the issues he felt during that set. We'll see. Maybe he can bring it back some point in losers as he adapts more to playing with that slight lag on US servers.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's been a solid player for a long time now. I mean, he played great in those matches. They were very close. He just wasn't able to edge it out. And we saw a little bit of great use of those Diana signatures. I really wanted to see that gun side signature, and he used it in a lot of great strings, particularly, you hit with the gun down air, you follow up with the side air, and then once he landed, that puts them at the perfect distance for that side signature. And I mean, he caught Alec with that once or twice, and it was just
Yeah, and you were
really
definitely
nice.
talking about using Diana's gun side signature, and I think it was a pretty great display. Unfortunately, didn't get to see very much more of that. But of course, it's good to see even the slightest bits of use of some of the more unique signatures, and so maybe in more professional play in the future, we'll get more of that. Looks like we're having a bit of more issues in the webcams, but I mean, I think this just confirms that I am another version of TWK Smash.
I mean, yeah, Creed and TWK, it's just double Creed all day, right?
Again, thank you to everyone for bearing with us as we try to figure out how to deal with some of these issues. More professional content coming to you as soon as possible.
I just want to apologize. For some reason, whatever we're using for the webcam software is just very, very finicky. And every time like I try to get rid of this mouse that keeps appearing on the screen, or if I try to fix that in any way, it just somehow it just doesn't like it. So sorry everyone in chat. I want to make this as professional as possible, but this software hates me. Anyway.
Things happen, and I'm sure everyone will be a little forgiving. I know that the regular Brawlhalla dev streams have their own fair share of issues. So, I think
What are you talking about? Like, every single bee was placed there intentionally.
Every bee.
They keep a hive. Like, they have the freshest honey.
Hype. So much bee hype.
But let's see what we've got coming up now, because I know a lot of matches went underway while we were watching that one. Oh my gosh. Wow. Dobrin versus Magma Bob. That's going to be insane.
LDZ beat Twilight in round 2.
Ooh.
Which is pretty significant. Besides that, from what I'm seeing, no huge upsets. But some strong showings nonetheless. On Tilt beating Clippership. What else do we got? Moose beat Loco Doco. And so far in round 3, we've got Dobrin Magma Bob, Alec Curiosity Moose, Pugsy LDZ, and then On Tilt versus the winner of Stardust and Scythe.
Oh, nice. I haven't seen On Tilt play in a while. I just haven't been able to catch up with him, but I always love watching his play. He always comes out with some crazy new thing that I'm just like, wow, that was really smart.
Yeah, definitely. Although it's interesting because On Tilt has, for the most part, quit using Katars, and that was something he was really well known for in the past.
Yeah, I know. I know a lot of people, you know, they shed a tear or two for that one.
I know I sure do, because I really loved On Tilt's Katars. It's definitely one of the things that pushed me forward, along with, I believe, Foda's Queen Nai way back in the day
Ooh.
when he played Katars. Oh,
The classic.
those were really good. And now, of course, Foda plays a large variety of characters, and On Tilt has left the hype of Katars, but some of us try to stay true to the Katar hype.
Yeah, I know. Especially since we saw, you know, like the some of the recent changes to Katars, particularly people talking a lot about that down air. You know, now how it pops them up off the ground a little bit because it had some force changes.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people were really sad about losing out on the actual combos of that down air side light, that whole chain, but it goes really well into side air now.
it does that. Personally, what I love doing is a down air, full dodge, and then cancel into a down light, and then that pops them up
yes.
for a neutral air. And you know, honestly, while it will ruin any of the sort of muscle memory combos you may have gotten with down air over, you know, the past months or whatever, it's opened up even more combos using full dodge and dodge cancels in a huge variety of ways. And so I think one of the great things is being able to adapt to some of these changes and learning some of the new combos. And I think that's where a lot of people are struggling, people who used to be really into Katars. But I think it's definitely interesting as this sort of new Katar meta evolves.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, with that, I mean, we're going to be going into a match of a player who kind of plays a little bit of everybody, so we might end up seeing a touch of that.
All right, well, with that, we're going to go ahead and hop on over to Dobrin versus Magma Bob. Give me 1 second. Sparky, how do you feel? Dobrin versus Magma Bob. Are you hype?
I am extremely excited. My heart is torn in this one. This is absolutely going to be a ridiculous matchup. Everybody knows if bans existed in this game, you could not ban out Dobrin, no matter how many bans you possibly had. Dude can play anything. I know recently he was trying to take Diana to Diamond.
I'm pretty sure he succeeded on that note, and he's hovering on Diana right now. This is the man of a million characters. Dobrin can basically play anyone at Diamond level, except he said he can't play Taros. But Magma Bob, I think he's basically only played Bodvar. I know he's touched Asuri a little bit, but he's mostly been a sword main for as long as I can remember. Magma Bob's been around for quite some time. He's been under 1,000,001 clan tags, but always has been in what has been the core group of what is Boo, except for when he was in JV4, that doesn't count. But Magma Bob and Dobrin now both on the same side. They're both Boo, and they're both gonna fight it out here in round 3. Let's go ahead and give them the okay. We've got Dobrin on Diana. We're gonna see if he sticks with it. So far, Egg Soup's the only one who's really stuck with it, and he lost immediately. We haven't actually seen a Diana win yet, so we'll see if Dobrin is the one to do it. I mean, it is Dobrin. And he's also the one who made these fantastic graphics, so shouts out to him. But let's hop on in here. Dobrin versus Magma Bob on Twilight Grove.
2, 1, brawl.
What do you think?
I think Bo is going to have a little bit of a fare on this map because it's more elliptical in the middle rather than a very linear map like Thunderguard or, Mammoth Fortress. But I don't think Sword has a bad map.
Yeah, absolutely. And on this map, Dobrin has that opportunity, much like Ada's neutral sig. You can actually like hotspot that angle where Magma Bob's sitting right now with that neutral sig and knock him perfectly down that angle. And Dobrin might have an opportunity to do it. Magma Bob's already getting into the red. If Dobrin wants to, he might be able to get that neutral sig, knocking Magma Bob down that angle. But instead, he's just going to go for a sidelight. Can he get the dare?
Dobrin is sending a message to Blue Mammoth Games right now. Hey guys, nerf bow dare. Because he is extremely successful with that right now.
We saw that neutral sig. There's the neutral light and the neutral air. Sorry, the down light into a neutral air finishes. That's just how much damage was on a Magma Bob. But that is going to finish him off. And did he just get a dare into a side light into a nair? Dobrin showing some new strings that I haven't seen out of bow players.
Did Dobrin move to somewhere that he's not like two barring?
I know. I mean, I guess it is worth pointing out Dobrin is in Russia right now. Generally has about 180 ping, but
that ground pound gonna just barely clip that hitbox.
Answers back, but he's in the yellow already. And Dobrin, this is the first time we've seen him with guns this set, and with the gravity cancel side sig onto his head.
Dobrin is so quick at hitting that nair into the dare. A very, very safe move. Covers a ton of space and does damage if it hits either one.
Magma Bob fishing for that dare. Not able to get it just yet. Can he get on top of him? We'll see if Magma Bob is able to make the adjust that Alec was able to do, where he starts throwing a little bit more, starts using that to open up ways to get on top of the Dobrin. But so far, Magma Bob has not been able to get a weapon. Gets the dodge in neutral light. Sares from Dobrin finish him off.
Dobrin's so smart, not even attempting to come in on top of Magma Bob because he knows that hammer recovery is so strong and can kill in orange.
Downlight from Magma Bob, not gonna finish off Dobrin just yet. Ground pound's not gonna connect, but the gravity cancel sidelight falls on top of him. Dobrin, he's looking for those initiations. He's using those dares and those downlights to get on top of him. And Magma Bob with that huge nair sends Dobrin into the sky. Stocks and health relatively even. Can Magma Bob keep him off a weapon? No. No, he can't.
We're seeing Dobrin playing that spacing game. The double dare 2000.
2 dares into a gravity cancel neutral light. Magma Bob gets the weapon toss, but not able to follow up much. He gets a little bit of a dare tap, but not even the full brunt of that dare is going to be enough. Dobrin spacing it out right now. Gets the neutral light as Magma Bob tries to sidelight in. He's going to switch to bow. Can he finish off Magma Bob?
Magma Bob doing a great job against guns, keeping that spacing because Diana's gun signatures have a gigantic range.
Down sig from Magma Bob connects onto Dobrin, and Dobrin's not able to touch the wall. Magma
Bob back against the wall, coming back and just making a complete 180, completely turning the tables on Magma Bob.
I mean, not that Magma Bob is a bad player by any means, but I did not expect that. Dobrin seemed in complete control, and then out of nowhere, there's a down signature that knocks Dobrin off the map, and he's just not able to touch the wall. And I mean, maybe that was the lag, but that caught me off guard.
Dobrin usually doesn't make mistakes like that.
Absolutely not. And it looks like he is not going to try to make that mistake again. Instead, he is going to switch it up to Cassidy, much like Arcade did.
I know he's been playing a lot of Cassidy in ranked.
I mean, that 8 decks and that guns and hammer, all of that is strong. Cassidy's got some great signatures that come out lightning quick, like we saw from Arcade. Magma Bob, though, unafraid, sticking with the unarmed right now against Dobrin's guns. But now that Dobrin's got a hammer, Magma Bob's got to pick something up. Gets one Sair. Gravity cancel down sig, barely outspaced by Dobrin.
Magma Bob looking for the Stevenator right there, but it does not connect.
And on these slightly smaller kill boxes of Great Hall, it might have been enough. Doesn't fall for the neutral sig from Dobrin. There's a side air. Can he get the air? No, interrupted.
Magma Bob definitely taking the better of that hammer fight. Cassidy's deck's not enough to make up for the lag difference between the two.
Magma Bob, once again, he's trying to adjust to those guns with that weapon toss. He's got a mine in hand. Dobrin not going to get caught by it. Can Magma Bob get on top of him? Dobrin playing real safe. Wants to use that full range of that hammer, and there's one Sair. Can he get the gun Sair? Needs one more. Ground pound connects onto Magma Bob's head. But Dobrin in the red. Dobrin currently with the guns, wants to keep Magma Bob at bay, but the side air.
Oh, that's side air.
That unarmed side air sent Dobrin flying, but still not enough just yet. Stomp, can't get the dare.
Not enough.
Magma Bob just needs one good side air on the Magma,
There's the hammer recovery, sending him down below. Magma Bob throwing that bomb away, not letting Dobrin have it.
Downlight into a side air from Dobrin. Magma Bob with that hammer gets the stop into a dare, can't get the nair though. And Dobrin stops all of that aggression with one gun dare. Magma Bob unarmed again. Doesn't have a weapon to open up Dobrin.
Dobrin's spacing out like a pro right now. I hate fighting sword on this map, but Dobrin makes it look so easy.
I mean, that is the power of Dobrin. He makes so many things look easy, and he knows how to use the full hitbox of his weaponry. Can't get the neutral stick on a Magma Bob. Magma Bob's evening up that health very slowly. Can he get the Sair? Dobrin gets the Sair onto Magma Bob. Can Magma Bob answer back in time? He's got the mine. I don't think Dobrin's gonna fall for it anytime soon, but the neutral light from Magma Bob.
I can't believe the neutral light sent him that direction that far.
That is how much damage is on Dobrin, and Magma Bob's got the weapon advantage right now. Throws it away because he wants that unarmed string, but hasn't been able to get it. Dobrin catches that spike ball, tries to answer back, but can't get it. Dobrin fishing for these side airs, wants to get the opener. I like these sidelights from Magma Bob. Just so fast, gets on top of Dobrin whenever he's in the air. Weapon toss, backs up, has the hammer. He's gonna play hammer versus Dobrin's hammer. Side air. Can he get the second one? Recovery! And Dobrin gets back to the wall, and now he's gonna go to the outside. Magma Bob has the bomb in hand, but Dobrin knocks it out before Magma Bob's able to throw it. Dobrin in the red, he's gonna have to use the full spacing of that gun, but the nair!
Oh, and the nair again.
Bob.
The hammer nair can be so absolutely strong. That hitbox, you think it's not gonna hit you, and then it just absolutely does. It just clips you enough and sends you flying. I hate the hammer nair hitbox. It is so devilishly misleading.
Magma Bob able to sneak out of game one and then just takes game two by force. And that might be, you might be able to argue connection, but honestly, Dobrin, he's a really strong player on any server, and Magma Bob just did outstandingly. That game two was really well played by Magma Bob. Do you have any words before we go to the analysts, Sparky?
No, just because I want to see what TWK has to say.
All right. What? Where'd they go? Oh, hey. Here we are. What is up? TWK and part of the Creed. What do you guys think?
What a set. You know, from the get-go, it really looked like Dobrin had the upper hand. He was putting down that damage on Magma Bob, but Magma Bob doing a great job turning that around with a 2-0.
I mean, nobody expected a 2-0 from this match. Like, I mean, Magma Bob is a phenomenal player. I feel like a lot of people's bets probably would have gone to Dobrin from his past recent performances. But 2-0 Magma Bob, that is huge.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got to feel good going into the next one off of that.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, Magma Bob played really well. We saw a bit of an upset right on the last stock of that first match with, you know, this sad death as we just saw Dobrin plummeting to his doom with that really short bow recovery. You know, something just didn't click there. He lost his dodges and his jumps, but definitely in that second match, Magma Bob saw right through Dobrin's attacks, and in that third stock really pushed it and finished Dobrin off with that 2-0.
Yeah, and I mean that was, you know, absolutely a huge turning point that, unfortunately short bow recovery, as we saw, just because Dobrin, I think it's safe to say, had command of that match for the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
He was always healthily ahead in damage, always kind of dictating the pace of play and the position of the stage. And, Magma Bob did hold on, and he just kind of, kept at it, just steadily trying to even it up. And, it paid off in the end for that first match. And then going into the second one, I mean, Dobrin always was just ahead of Magma Bob until that final stock, but Magma Bob kept it close the entire time, which was pretty telling.
Yeah, definitely. And both players, I'm sure they've had plenty of experience fighting against each other in, within Boo and things like that. And Dobrin, of course, he has that lag from all the way over from Russia. So there's a good chance that really played a huge factor in both matches. Maybe in that third stock of that first match, lag kicked in and suddenly he was somewhere else on the map. It's always hard to tell, and it's always a little frustrating, I'd imagine. But, I'm sure we can continue to expect great things from Dobrin even after this match.
Yeah, we'll probably see him move up through the losers bracket. I'm actually kind of curious, going off of that, Magma Bob's going to go on to fight Stardust, who beat On Tilt.
And Moose has beaten Alec Furiosity 2-0. I saw Alec talking in chat. He said he just tilted against Moose. And now we're looking at our top four with Magma Bob, Stardust, Moose, and Pugsy. 3 of those are Boo members, but we got Moose in here representing Uzi, doing a great job.
Always love Moose. I haven't seen him play in a little while, but it's good to see him still around. I think he took a break for a little bit, but I'm sure he's back strong as ever, as we can see from these early results.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's very interesting. Loco says he tilted against Moose too. So it seems like Moose is using some pretty hard mind games against all of his opponents. Can Pugsy keep up with the Moose mind death ray?
It's all about that mental fortitude. I mean, that's
absolutely.
as important a part of play as any of your, technical decisions or anything like that.
Moose back in the day was known for throwing out all of these SIGs, and people would just run into them over and over again. And he had those mind games back then. People got sort of used to it, but maybe he's swinging it back around.
Yeah, he used to play a lot of Bodvar, right?
Yeah, he's still playing Bodvar now. He switched to Sentinel for a little while, but he's gone back to Bodvar, and he's going strong with it.
Yeah, I think, I always had this very clear picture in my head whenever anyone mentioned Moose of just the bear signature from Bodvar, just clawing at the air.
Yeah,
because I think I saw a lot of that in one specific tournament. I mean, months and months ago at this point. But I was just like, oh my gosh, he is catching people left and right with this thing.
Yeah, Raiden complaining in chat about running into Moose Sigs. Everyone who's maybe a little older in the community has some sort of experience with playing against Moose.
Oh yeah, that's going to be interesting going forward because, Moose has a lot of those great reads, that great feel for a lot of people's knee-jerk reactions, that kind of thing. And he benefits a lot from it. And we see one of the more, I guess we'll say, emotionally fueled players is kind of who he's playing up against next. Pugsy. He's very aggressive, in your face all the time, just attacks coming out constantly.
Yeah, and Pugsy, of course, always very strong. Just been climbing up these last few months, becoming one of the best players Boo has, and will be interesting to see how Moose can handle Pugsy's play.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see how that plays off, because Pugsy, going with that just aggression through intuition, and Moose kind of having those great reads for the big hits. I'm kind of expecting some fireworks there in the tight situations right after somebody gets hit.
Mm-hmm. So, Duke, do we look ready to go?
We're still waiting on a room number for that Pugsy versus Moose match.
Ooh.
But
I
that
got
is
one
going to
for
be,
you.
we are already at winners semis, so we are going to be watching both sides. That's Moose and Pugsy. We're going to be watching that first, and then we're going to follow it up with Magma Bob versus Stardust. That is going to be the other side of the bracket that we're going to be watching, and then we're going to be going on to, I believe, losers bracket, if that is done, but it looks like they're still going through right now.
Oh, nice. All right, yeah, that moving through at a fair clip. Looks like... I know we saw a lot of these players earlier on. We've got Arcade against El Loco Doco. The winner's going to move on to fight Dobrin in
And
that
the winner of
losers
that
bracket.
gets to fight Twilight. So, plenty of strong people in losers and winners alike.
Oh, yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean-
this entire tournament as a whole is a really big showcase of some of the best players. And I know a lot of people, you know, they had things pop up, they just couldn't show up every once in a while, and we understand that. But definitely, I expect more of those familiar faces to pop up in future, you know, weeks of the Brawlhalla Championship Series, and I can imagine that it's going to get really intense over the coming weeks to see who can pull out those top 3 every single week.
Yeah, especially since, you know, going forward, the seeding is going to be done based on the results of these tournaments here, as well as accumulating those points to go into that final main event.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be really interesting to see, you know, the people who may not have been able to make it for one reason or another today, kind of clawing up towards those spots after the early point grabs that a lot of these players are getting, and how competitive we're seeing the scene already.
Yeah,
It's going to be tough to get those points.
absolutely. Absolutely. Does it look like, Duke, did you manage to get the room number?
I'm afraid not. We are still
I-
talking to Zen again right now, the admin behind the scenes. He is saying that they haven't quite set up the room numbers. Sometimes, you know, they gotta take a potty break or something like that. But if you guys don't mind, I'm actually gonna hop over to Sparky and let him explain where we're at with the points right now, and then we'll check back in with y'all and see what you guys have to say about it. But give me 1 second. Hey, Sparky.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna bring up this challenge bracket right now, and I want you to explain exactly where people are with these points and see who may or may not have the most points as of right now.
I see how it is. You're gonna make me do all this difficult math. I understand.
Yeah, on the spot. You are you're the math guy, right? You're like the mathlete.
Yeah. I mean, I am getting my minor in math, so I guess this is like my pre-final exam.
Exactly.
Let's see. So the way it's going to work for those who weren't here for my explanation earlier is everything until I believe winners semis is going to be a best of 3. If you win the best of 3, you are awarded 1 point. Now, obviously, as you win more and more and more best of 3s, you will accrue more and more points. If we're looking at the bracket right now, we see the very first match in round 1 was I Can't Kill Anyone against Immortals. We saw that I Can't Kill Anyone won the bracket, or won that best of 3, 2-0. That is awarding 1 point to I Can't Kill Anyone. He then went on to fight Dobrin, who he lost to, so he did not get any points for that. He also was not penalized any points, he just did not gain any. So if we follow I Can't Kill Anyone down into the losers bracket, let's see where he is. He then lost to Egg Soup 1-2. So I Can't Kill Anyone finished this week out with 1 point. Now, if we look at somebody like Egg Soup lost his first game, receiving no points. He then went down in a loser's bracket, beat I Can't Kill Anyone, thus awarding him 1 point. He then went on to beat Volcor, awarding him another point. And then I believe we haven't yet gotten the results for Alec Furiosity against Egg Soup. So Egg Soup right now in his standing is going to have 2 points. That is going to go on for every person, so on and so forth. And we will then tally up all of those points at the end of this week, and that alone will be used for the seeding for next week. So whoever has the most points will be first seed. Whoever has the last or the least points will be last seed. And if there are any ties, then that will come down to your MMR on the ranked leaderboard. Now, I will go ahead and outline this just a bit as we're waiting right here. Next week is when we throw a wrench into the works, where if there is a 2-to-1 ratio between the points, say player A has 10 points and player B has 5 points, if player B wins the match, he will get 10% of those points. And yes, I got a little bit ahead of myself and was just reminded that in loser's bracket, you get half the points. Otherwise, you could go down into loser's bracket, run it all the way back, and end up being rewarded for running back through loser's bracket. So I will clarify that with Egg Soup as our example again. Egg Soup lost his first game, awarded no points. Went down into loser's bracket. He won his first game, awarding him half a point, and he won his game against Volcor, awarding him another half of the point. So as it stands right now, thank you for the clarification, is Egg Soup has 1 point.
All right, we got a room number. You can join off of me. We've got a room number. We're getting ready.
I'm already in here.
Pugsy versus Moose. I don't know who's in here, man. I didn't look at that stuff, but we've got the room number. So I'm excited. We got a room number. We've got Pugsy versus Moose. I'm interested to see who Pugsy will play. They're both generally Bodvar mains to my knowledge, but Pugsy's more likely to mix it up. He's got some other like kind of off picks that he'll play just for funsies, but to the best of my knowledge, he is a Bodvar main for the most part. Moose, on the other hand, as was stated, I believe, is by and large just a Bodvar main, and he is a big fan of those Bodvar Sigs. So we'll see if Pugsy decides to go straight at him, just Bodvar v Bodvar, or if he'll decide to mix it up and try to do some sort of like counter pick or something like that. But I believe we are good to go.
I haven't seen Moose play in a very long time. I've seen his elo on the leaderboard. Holy Lord, Pugsy is going to lock in Ada.
That is an Ada. That is an Ada.
And we are loading into the game. That is definitely confirmed in Ada. Okay. I don't know if I've seen Pugsy play Ada.
I mean,
I know he's played Ada against me, and of course, because it's Pugsy against me, he wins that matchup easily.
Absolutely. We'll see how this works out. I mean, spear, guns, all have been very strong. I believe we've seen guns every single set so far. Might be hinting at how strong guns are, but swords have been seen every set as well, I believe. But Pugsy staying way away from him.
Fingertips by the skin of his teeth.
That's that finger strength Pugsy's been working on. He's getting the down airs. He's just very slowly racking up this damage, and it's on Moose to get through the spacing. Oh, neutral light doesn't connect, but immediate dare from Pugsy.
Pugsy spacing it out, everything, making a wall of hitboxes around himself.
It's a good Sair for Pugsy to get him some room to get back onto the map, and Moose is slowly eking into the red right now, and the recovery's gonna finish him off. Pugsy just tapping him 1 or 2 shots little by little, and Pugsy gets the first stock. Can Moose answer back? There's 1 ground pound. Pugsy's got that 3 defense. If Moose can get another good hit. Sair. 1 more Sair. 1 more Sair.
Follow it
Pugsy's
up.
gonna get the wall. Bomb not gonna bounce towards Pugsy.
Pugsy's got guns again. It is space time.
There's 2
And the double nair.
nairs. Moose is fishing for these ground pounds right now. He really wants to even this up ASAP. He might be playing a little bit too aggressive, and the weapon toss takes
enough.
it.
Pugsy punished with that downlight.
We'll see if Pugsy's able to pick up a weapon in time, or if he'll just do some unarmed shenanigans. On the Moose, gets a dare into a sliding down heavy. Pugsy now with this spear. He's playing a lot more aggressive, a lot less spacing, and a little bit more, I'm gonna push towards you. Fishing for these neutral lights and these downlights. Gets 1 nair on the Moose. Downlight into a Sair, and Moose in the red. If Pugsy can get another big hit, could finish off Moose already. Downsig not gonna be
almost
it.
had it.
Moose fishing for these ground pounds.
Moose keeping up the pressure. I do not like the unarmed into spear matchup, but
Oh,
Moose,
and there it is.
he was able to get Pugsy to orange, though. Much more work than I would have expected.
Absolutely. He managed to work with that stock and get that damage onto Pugsy. But, I mean, like you were saying, unarmed versus spear, you've got to hit those sweet spots, just that bullseye on that spear helicopter, and Moose just wasn't able to do it, and that's why he got taken down. But now he's got the sword in hands. Can he keep Pugsy off the...
Ooh, that gravity cancel down signature narrowly missing Pugsy.
I mean, it was really a smart play. Oh, and that bomb.
Bomb narrowly missing Pugsy.
Neutral sig not going to
Looking
connect.
for the read.
I like that
Pugsy
neutral
going
light
for
from
the
Pugsy.
long ground pound.
Moose gets in with the side light. Sword toss not going to connect, and Pugsy's going to go into the shenanigans and back up top with the side sig. Pugsy takes
Pugsy taking that
one.
match without losing that second stock. Making that Ada pick look really, really strong.
Pugsy just really well paced. There wasn't a real like strong like Pugsy just going in like we saw out of Alec, where he was just keeping that aggression on top of his opponent, like smacking him off the wall, anything like that. Instead, Pugsy just very paced, just like 1 or 2 shots, back up, wait for the next opportunity. Really well played from Pugsy. But Moose,
Patient and controlled.
Moose, he played well too. He had some really smart plays, but Pugsy was just a little bit outside of those hitboxes, you know, a little bit outside of that mine, a little bit outside of that gravity cancel down sig. We'll see if Moose can make the adjustment he needs right now, but Pugsy with the guns here in game 2 of this winner semifinal match.
Pugsy making sure to guard that weapon. Another one spawns, allowing Moose to get that sword. Pugsy going deep, racking up that damage. Moose already in the orange. Pugsy's been hit once, twice, and that's the 3rd time.
Gets caught by the recovery, but Pugsy not able to finish it off. Side sig just barely missing. Pugsy starting to fish for these side sigs, and Moose gets the ground pound that he's looking for. Can he get the dare gimp? No, not able to do so. Oh, and the ground pound. Pugsy let go of his ground pound a little bit earlier so that the explosion from the blast connected on the Moose. And Pugsy with a huge health
that
advantage.
nice string right there.
Dares for days.
Double dare. That is what every gun player dreams about. It's the multiple dares in a row. Pugsy putting in that quick work, allowing Moose to fall into the orange.
Who dare stops the neutral
Pugsy doesn't
sig.
have a dodge.
He got the wall touch. He's still safe for now, but the ground pound is gonna finish it off. A Moose has a lot of health to make up right now. He's in maybe reddish, barely red. Now he's definitely in the red. And one
Pugsy
good side
immediately
sig
using that horn.
could be it. Side air from Pugsy sends Moose almost to the other side of the map. And that's just how much damage is on Moose. And there's the ground pound.
Wow.
Sends him through the
Pugsy
soft
hitting
platform.
multiple ground pounds in a row. Pugsy going back to the spacing game. Pugsy going into the shenanigan zone a lot for someone who's playing guns against sword.
Both of them basically, rather than try to recover against their opponent, have been going into the shenanigans area or to the outside, just completely avoiding their opponents. And that's one of the advantages of Thunder Guard. This mine is gonna make it hard for Pugsy, but he still gets the wall touch. Moose now with the sword. Pugsy immediately neutralizes him. Bomb drop, not gonna connect.
Bomb still active.
Moose answers the ground pound with a ground pound of his own, but Pugsy, once again, huge advantage. Can Moose finish off this stock from Pugsy?
Pugsy doesn't have a
There,
dodge.
but Pugsy's gonna make it back to the shenanigans area again, and the recovery picks up.
Wow.
And Pugsy with that adjust. Just
Second game, Pugsy taking it in his second stock in the red, not giving up that stock.
Pugsy, really smart. I like the adjust. He saw the tap from the recovery and went to the side. A lot of times people drop their recoveries because they're busy thinking about their own safety, but Pugsy, he knew what he had and he went for the kill with that recovery. Any words you want to say before we switch?
Pugsy making it look like he plays Ada on the reg.
Absolutely. All right, with that, we're going to go over to the analyst desk. Pugsy, very well played, very paced. What do you guys think of Pugsy versus Moose?
So what I'm hearing, I'm a little confused. Is this a best of 3 or is this a best of 5?
It is a best of 3. Winners finals is the best of 5, and grand finals are best of 5.
Okay, because it looks like, yeah, okay, we're getting a little bit of confusion. Yeah, that set, well played, of course, by Pugsy. Moose, trying his best, but I think one of the notable things was watching Pugsy go in between like the center and outside areas of Thunder Guard and not allowing Moose to get any sort of advantage with his edge guards. One of the things that Moose loves to do with his hammer is use that recovery and have players go over him. And with Pugsy going underneath the map to, the other side wherever he could, it just didn't allow Moose any chance to use that recovery.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Thunder Guard was a bit of a rough pick, especially since, as you were saying, we see Moose with a lot of these different edge guard tactics, specifically a lot of those gravity cancel signatures.
Mm-hmm.
We've mentioned that he's a huge fan of, interesting use of signatures. And we saw in that second match, Pugsy was kind of looking for those, and he got some good punishes on them. And even before that, Moose was missing by just a hair on
so many
3 different ones.
Frame perfect dodges or misses by Pugsy and Moose. Moose is just trying to kill Pugsy, and everything is just going right off of Pugsy by just a few pixels.
Yeah, and I feel that has to do a lot with, how this match went the way that it did. Those key cases where Moose had those opportunities and wasn't able to capitalize, and the fact that those opportunities are so rare because Thunder Guard has so many different options of paths you can choose back to and around the stage. And Moose, he kind of benefits more from locking out options from opponents, and you just can't do that on Thunder Guard.
Yeah, so it's very possible that picking Thunder Guard during that second match on the part of Moose may have been a pretty crucial mistake. Of course, that wasn't the end. Moose is going to go back down into losers and hopefully make a good show for himself.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, if, I just want to touch on real quick about the match there. Pugsy definitely ran away with that second one. He took the momentum from the first and just kept applying it, adapted to a couple of those key cases, and they were few and far enough between that, Moose wasn't able to get anything started. It was always, even in both matches, Pugsy leaping out ahead in damage, Moose having to come from behind. He's always playing on the back foot. And against a player like Pugsy, that's not something you want to be doing. Most of the times that I've seen Pugsy kind of fall to opponents in tournaments, it's when that opponent can get an early lead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And so, it'll be interesting to see if Moose can sort of recover from this loss, go up in winners, because his past few matches, he's done really well. And, I think some people in chat pointed that out, but it's pretty incredible. Every match in the winners bracket has been a 2-0, including this one. And so people are running away with these great wins, and it'll be interesting to see how long people manage to keep this up. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, these 2-0s are killing me. Like, just every time. It's, the story of the day has been momentum.
Mm-hmm.
It's really just whether you can keep it going or not.
That huge key role. A lot of fighting games in general has a lot to do with your mentality, and mind games we say a lot jokingly when someone falls to their death, but it's pretty serious when you lose that first match, and not being able to recover from a loss like that can do things to your mental state within a fighting game to try to win future matches. And I think we can see that a lot in the fact that these 2-0s are coming out from everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm very interested to see in these coming matches that I think Duke is going to lead us into, if that trend is going to continue, or Now that we kind of see all these players who have been just riding off all of these 2-0s meeting up against each other, what's going to happen?
Yeah, definitely. So looks like our next match is going to be Magma Bob and Stardust. A boo on boo clash. Both of these players really good, but Stardust does have the slight advantage in the EU servers, and we saw Magma Bob capitalize on that against Dobrin. We'll see if Stardust can, use that maybe to his advantage or get away from that. Duke, do you think we're ready to go on that?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm gonna hop on over to this screen. Let me hop on over to the other room. Sparky, what do you think is gonna happen? Stardust versus Magma Bob. Who are they gonna play? Because I've seen them hover on 1,000,000,001 characters.
I don't know. I think Stardust was hovering on Vrax just for me. I'm almost 100% sure Magma Bob was hovering on Vrax just for me. I think we're going to see Stardust play Koji, who is absurdly strong right now in so many people's eyes.
Absolutely. Koji has been dominating that 8 decks with that bow. It just gives you so much room to just do whatever you want. You can just keep mashing that X button.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, we'll see how that works out for Stardust, especially with this EU ping. It's not going to be coming out as fast as maybe he's used to. It's not going to be frame perfect the way that I'm sure that he's learned. And Magma Bob's going to be sticking with his mainstay Bodvar. It's going to be comfort versus maybe a little bit of discomfort with that Koji on NA. But we'll see if Stardust is able to make the adjustment necessary. Let's go ahead and give them the okay.
Is that Taros just for you, or
no? There's no way he's playing Taros. There's no way. Stardust,
a girl can dream.
As the best Taros right now has stated that he's not going to be playing Taros. But
we have heard some complaints from Stardust today about his ping being a little bit worse than usual. Maybe the 8 decks will make up for that, but we will see. Magma Bob doing work on the boys from across the pond as he dares right into a bomb.
And there, he's already got the bow. We've seen at least 3 dares already, 4 dares. Went for a 5th one, but Magma Bob able to interrupt with that recovery. And Magma Bob, we'll see if we can keep that aggression, keep Stardust off the map. No, Magma Bob playing very safe. As we've said before, that bow has so much priority in the air that Magma Bob's gotta respect it. Gets 1 scoop, can't get the nair in time.
We're seeing Magma Bob pulling ahead, Stardust evening it up.
Nairs Magma Bob into the sky, can't get the gravity cancel neutral sig. Magma Bob with the downlight into a cider, and Stardust unarmed right now. Can Magma Bob take advantage of this? Can't get the downlight. Dodging 1 spike bomb. And the side heavy. That unarmed side heavy from Stardust. He made sure to burn as many of Magma Bob's options as possible with those spike balls so that side heavy was much safer. Magma Bob.
I swear I've seen more side heavy unarmed kills today than I have ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, there's been a lot of just like immediate answer back unarmed side heavies. And Magma Bob, can he finish it off? Gets the downlight string. Can he get it? No, Stardust dodges through the ground pound and is going to be safe for now. Can he rack up that damage with this boat, dares, and neutralites? Barely dodging that bomb. A Magma Bob!
My lord! I'm sure that we are going to see that gif straight on the Reddit today. I don't know if Magma Bob planned that, but you couldn't have hoped for a better outcome.
What a shot. I'm pretty sure he would have died either way, but the bomb was just a little bit of extra flair. Stardust now has a sword. We'll see if he's able to do much with it. Dodges right into the neutralites, and Magma Bob going for the unarmed string. Instead, went for the nair instead of a sair or a recovery. Wasn't able to get the full damage that it was possible. Dare. Can he finish it off? No, Stardust gonna stay safe, go outside, go to the soft platform, and a downlight side air from Stardust.
Stardust in a good position in the yellow right now. Magma Bob hitting a down sig.
Ooh, downlight drops for Stardust. Unfortunately for him. Downlight that time is going to get it, and that is going to finish him off. Stardust in the orange, getting into the red. Can Magma Bob answer back? Oh, gets caught by a side air from Stardust, and a downlight into a neutral air. Stardust fishing for these downlight neutral airs. Down air.
I love the neutral sig on Koji's bow as just a safeguard from your opponent coming down right on top of you.
Absolutely prevents any sort of aerial approach as well. If you're trying to do that dodge and dare, that neutral sig is going to really deter you. And Magma Bob again with that Sair, but he's kind of getting in the orange. He's got to keep Stardust weaponless. He's got to keep weapons out of Stardust's hand and do something with this weapon advantage. All he's gotten so far is a Nair, which is not going to be enough. And there's the weapon spawn for Stardust. Magma Bob recovery into a
Magma
Nair.
Bob weaponless now.
He's evened up the damage a little bit. Uh-oh. Magma Bob, what was
Magma
that?
Bob blowing everything there.
That weapon toss was really unusual. Not sure where that was supposed to go. But Magma Bob gets the weapon toss into a neutral light. Stardust, downlight, side air. Can he keep Magma Bob off the wall? No, Magma Bob, immediate recover. Ground pound not going to connect. Can't get the recovery. And Magma Bob is
Magma
not
Bob's
able to
gonna
do it.
fall. That simple dare was enough. Stardust bet it all on that dare. Magma Bob could have recovered and sent him down below. Stardust planned to win, not just not to lose.
Well, Magma Bob also, he burned a lot. When he fished for that recovery, that was borderline and all or nothing. He didn't have the jumps afterwards, as we saw. But it looks like they're not going to make any adjustments. Instead, we're going straight into game 2. Stardust versus Magma Bob. Sticking with the same characters. Koji versus Bodvar on King's Pass.
This is the first time we've seen King's Pass, at least
That
for
unarmed
us.
string. Magma Bob wasn't able to keep it going. He got the ledge cancel downlight, but he wasn't able to follow up after it. I don't think he was expecting it at all. Neutral light from Magma Bob. Okay, this sounds dumb, but I have no idea where the damage on Magma Bob came from. Magma Bob with that huge ground pound though at the bottom of the map is going to finish off Stardust, but as far as I can tell, Stardust gotten maybe 1 or 2 dares and Magma Bob's already in the orange, eking into the red. Magma Bob in the shenanigans area gets a huge string, recoveries into nairs.
That center area on King's Pass is so volatile, and there we have it
Another
again,
ground
Magma
pound.
Bob.
And now we're seeing exactly why Magma Bob chose this map. I'm not sure if it's just his comfort in that shenanigans area, or maybe he knows that he has the advantage with this ping, that he can go for these kind of wild, unarmed, ground poundy plays. Dare.
That would be my guess. With the ping advantage, that middle area being so volatile, anything can happen in an instant, and Magma Bob absolutely wants to capitalize on that.
Stardust gets the Sair, gets the second Sair, but he's still got 2 more stocks to go through, and he's only in the yellow. But Magma Bob with a very, very massive advantage right now. And I think if I was Stardust, I'd be thinking about what to do for game 3. What is the right map, and what do I need to adjust to be able to take out Magma Bob?
Magma Bob looking like he was on his heels, but then Stardust turned it around.
Gravity
Ooh,
cancel,
that
neutral
huge
sig.
read! Oh my gosh, the kill box can seem so small sometimes on King's Pass. All it takes is that one read. Koji was in the orange, and Stardust took the fall. Magma Bob taking game 2.
Magma Bob undeterred. He says, you might have won game 1, but I'm going to show you who's going to win this set. Takes it in game 2, and we're going to see what map Stardust ends up switching to. He's staying with Koji. He gets the option to switch characters, but he's going to stick with Koji for right now. We're going to see what happens.
Looks like Magma Bob is maybe mulling over his character choice.
I'm not 100% sure, but
Nope, going with Bodvar again.
we're going to see what
May have
map
just
they
been
end up choosing.
taking a breather.
Just a little bit of a break. He's got to cheer for himself a little bit because he turned up huge. And here we are, Mammoth.
3, 2, 1, brawl.
Magma Bob versus Stardust. Both of them start off. Stardust gets the first little bits of damage with that unarmed play. Magma Bob with that side air. Can he even up the damage a little bit? Trying to get on top of Stardust, but Stardust playing real safe. High in the sky, fishing for these max range dares.
It's interesting so far. We've seen from Magma Bob consistent good play. We haven't seen great play until the end of the match when Magma Bob just kind of erupts and gets 1 or 2 hits that seal the game for him.
Side sig from Magma Bob. Wanted to keep that aggression going. But yeah, Magma Bob, very explosive play style. He's playing a lot more aggressive this game. Stardust not able to pick up a weapon of any sort, but he gets the dodge in neutral light on Magma Bob. He's going to get the first stock. Both of them in the red. Side air from Stardust could be enough. Magma Bob, ooh, doesn't have the jumps.
Stardust weapon starving Magma Bob.
Side air from Magma Bob. Side sig not going to connect, and Stardust makes it back safely. He's got jumps to work with now. Gets a nair. Can he keep
Stardust
the juggle?
Keeping the space.
Magma Bob gets a good side air on the miss dare. Can he get the recovery? Stardust doesn't have the horizontal movement, and that is going to be it. But Magma Bob, weapon advantage, slight health disadvantage, but if he can get a couple good hits, 1 or 2 side lights could even it up easily. Neutral light, down light into a neutral light. Magma Bob not going for these full unarmed strings, instead just wants to get a downlight into a nair and opt for the weapon play. Not something you usually see from a 6 dex character. Magma Bob not able to get the dare. Gimp. Downlight side air from Stardust. Ground pound gets interrupted.
Perfect timed hammer recovery that can be so devastating and so strong. Looking for the bear.
Weapon toss from Magma Bob. Down sig not going to connect. Stomp into a scoop. Takes it. Magma Bob.
Stomp dare can be so devastating.
Stardust with that spike ball answers back immediately. And now
There you go.
Stardust with the weapon advantage. We're going to see him keep that advantage as long as possible. Try to push up, but Magma Bob, undeterred, immediate nair onto Stardust and has a sword of his own. We've got sword versus sword.
Everybody is just swinging right now. Magma Bob looking for the down sig.
Even trading blow for blow right now.
Oh my gosh.
Stardust now has the bow. Can Magma Bob get through it?
Looks like now that Stardust has the bow, he's playing a little bit more reserved.
He wants to use that max range dare, and if he gets close, he's going to go for that Sarah or that nair. Magma Bob gets one scoop. Can't get the gravity cancel bear. Stardust outside of the range. Mine. He's placed the trap, and there it is.
Oh my gosh.
Magma Bob sets it up. Stardust had to have seen it, but wasn't able to make the adjustment. Gets bopped right into it with that Sair. Anything you want to say before we hop on over to the analysts?
Nobody has used bombs as well today as Magma Bob has.
Absolutely. But let's go over to the analyst desk. If it'll let me. Nuts? Absolutely agree. It was nuts.
Insane.
What do you guys think?
What a way to finish it. Well done, Magma Bob. This is our first non-2-0 in winners. And I think it really comes down to Magma Bob really learning how Stardust was playing during that set, and capitalizing on every mistake he could get, because all of those matches were really close.
Yeah, I mean, what a slugfest. Like, the first and third matches, they were just going all out, trading blows. As soon as one would get, like, a nice hit or chain going, the other one would just kind of retaliate right back, and the damage would stay just about even for most of the time. I mean, we saw it in that last stock of, Magma Bob got that stomp on the platform into the scoop with the hammer, and not even 3 seconds later, Stardust answers back with the spike ball into uppercut. Like, insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I said that all the games were close. Not quite true, because Magma really took it away during that second match when he got the King's pick. And that was just incredible showing, because as we saw, Magma Bob is very comfortable in the shenanigans area.
Oh yeah, I mean, that was the story of that match. He got the King's Pass pick, and he just ran away with it. I mean, we all know Magma Bob. If you've ever played him, he performs really well in those tight areas. He loves the King's Pass column just because it lets him do a lot of his general tricks and aggression and just kind of keep hitting you into the ground until you just can't make it back. And that's kind of how he took that early 2-stock lead. And then, you know, for that last kill, he just kind of went the other way with it. Okay, I've knocked you down these 2 times. Gravity cancel signature, knock you out.
All the way back up, yeah. But, you know, Stardust played really well that first match. Magma Bob played even better that second match. But that third match was so close on both sides.
Oh my gosh.
Really well done, blow for blow. And, you know, those ending kills, like, both players, I think it was basically mirrored. On the first death of both was, you know, getting hit out of the air when they'd expended their jumps and just sort of falling to their doom.
Yes.
Both of the second kills were these quick, dirty 2-hit combos. You know, Magma Bob did his down light into down air, and Stardust did a crocky ball throw into an uppercut. Like, both of these players were just playing so similarly and so well. It was really incredible to watch.
Yeah, during the match we were talking about kind of how they were using a lot of similar sword moves at the same time. It was like they were kind of dancing around. And, you know, it just really showed in their play, because even when one would get a hit, the other would respond and just kind of retaliate. And then that situation would happen on the reverse side the exact same way shortly after.
Absolutely. And, you know, Magma Bob every once in a while was looking for some of those reads. He couldn't quite get it with the hammer neutral signature, but, you know, right up at the end of the second game, he got one with the sword neutral signature, and then at the end of the third game, throwing the mine and hitting the side air was just perfect.
One might even say calculated.
One might, but not us.
No, never.
Never. We can't do that. But, you know, free Reddit karma, right?
Yeah. As Sparky would say, send him to the Reddit.
Send him to the Reddit. So, taking a quick look at the bracket here, both of these matches have led us to a winners finals of Magma Bob versus Pugsy, which I can't wait to see because that is going to be such a fantastic match. But just as interesting, in the losers finals, we're starting to see things take form. It looks like we've got Twilight and Stardust fighting in losers round 6. Twilight bringing it way back from his loss to LDZ in round 2, and basically beating everyone on his way through the bracket from Immortals, Caxer, On Tilt, Arcade, and lastly Moose, and now on to fight Stardust in the losers bracket.
Wow. I mean, just wow. I know we saw him play against Egg Soup on the very first match that we were looking at, you know, since they had recently played at that final round tournament in Atlanta. And yeah, he got that one win, but it's, you know, I gotta give him credit. It's tough to burn your way through the entire losers bracket.
Absolutely.
Like, I've been put in positions where I have to do that in like some tournaments. It's tough, like the nerves get
because
to you.
Unlike winners, where you can feel a slight cushion in, you know, quick losses, in losers there is no room for error. You win or you're out. And so Twilight bringing it from the very first losers round is extremely impressive. Egg did a pretty good job coming up from the beginning of losers too, but of course, Egg explained is feeling pretty sick, and so it looks like he lost 0-1 to Stardust, so I believe that's just a straight forfeit. You know, hopefully Egg can go get some rest. But either way, I think he played pretty well.
Oh yeah, definitely a great showing. I mean, pretty much great showing from all the players we've seen today. These matches have been intense.
Yeah, definitely. And I know, as everyone in chat is pointing out, yes, all 4 of the people left are from Boo. We got Magma Bob, Pugsy, Twilight, and Stardust. But you know, Foda has a knack for picking some great characters, and
He's got an eye for the talent.
Great people.
You can say that.
Yeah. And of course, Boo is making their showing. Moose, unfortunately, one of the last few non-Boo players, lost to Twilight. But here we go. I think we're ready to start up with the losers round 6 with Twilight versus Stardust.
Oh, yeah, you are absolutely right. We are going into losers round 6. This is losers semis. This is gonna be Twilight versus Stardust. Thank you guys for your brilliant analysis, but I'm gonna be hopping back over to the room with Sparky. Give me 1 second. Sparky, we've got Twilight versus Stardust. Stardust is hovering on Teros?
It's got to be a joke.
Is it though? I mean,
it has to be a joke.
What are Stardust's options? Right? Is he gonna try to Koji again? That didn't work out terribly for him, but maybe Koji versus Twilight might not work the same way that Koji versus Bodvar or versus Magma Bob is gonna work out.
I just don't see Stardust being able to outtrade in the air game that Twilight is so infamously known for.
Yeah,
I think Sword just flat out outranges Axe.
I don't know. I have to agree. I'm very hesitant to say that Stardust will be actually playing as Teros, but in my heart of hearts, I gotta believe that maybe Stardust will play Teros, and maybe he'll just get stomped so bad BMG will say, hey, we should probably buff some Teros. Maybe.
It'll never happen.
It'd make me a very happy person. Have they banned? I'm not sure if they've done any banning or anything like that.
Unless they did it outside of game chat.
Maybe. I mean, once again, as everyone said in chat, it is a all Boo top 4 already. And so they quite possibly have their own secret chat or Steam messaging or whatever. I'm sure, like we've been saying, they've probably been playing against each other. They've been practicing against each other. They've got to know how they play to at least some degree. So maybe they did all of that behind the scenes in some other secret chat that belongs to them. I don't. Boo, by and large, is arguably one of the strongest teams, but I'm curious to see if someone comes out of nowhere and can get an upset. Maybe we won't have a top 16 grand finals all Boo. Are there even 16 Boo members?
I don't think so. Even if you include like Kayla and
Riolu.
Yeah, Riolu and the rest. No, I don't think they can sweep the whole thing unless Foda has been recruiting like mad.
I mean, there's still a couple weeks to go. They might start tagging up people, but here we go. Twilight versus Stardust. He's playing Koji. No funning around with that Teros. He's gonna hop in. He's got the sword. He's got the advantage right now. Can he push that advantage? No, Twilight picks up a hammer.
It looked like Star wasn't even moving in when he had the weapon advantage.
I mean, you gotta respect the unarmed. Unarmed is so strong right now, especially when you're in that white health. Unarmed can take you down, give you 80 damage easy. Just free right now, especially against 6 decks.
And on Great Hall.
Yeah.
I fought many a game against Dobrin on Great Hall where he just absolutely used both of those ledges to destroy me with unarmed.
You gotta respect it. And Stardust with that mine almost blows himself up. But you see that dare, he's gotta use that dare to stop the upward momentum. But he's got Twilight in the red right now. He's looking for that one hit, but Twilight's got the stairs.
It looks like Twilight is controlling that middle space, which is everything on Great Hall.
Ground pound and Stardust. There it is.
Twilight expertly waiting for Stardust to blow his dodge so he could get the ground pound and then the dare.
I thought for sure Stardust had at least another jump that he didn't have to burn his dodge, but it looks like he did, and Twilight capitalized very intelligently. Stardust now has to answer back quick, but you can see that unarmed power. Stardust already in the orange. I mean, part of that's the forward defense of Koji, but the other part of that It's just how absolutely brutal Unarmed is right now. Twilight, can he get that finishing blow again, or is Stardust gonna even up the stocks for a little bit? Side air.
Another one might just kill him.
Oh, the
Ooh,
dare from Twilight.
It looked like Stardust was also going for a dare, but was just a little bit below Twilight.
There's the downlight side air to finish off that stock of Twilight, but Stardust in the red. Deep red. I'm not sure what he'll be able to do. He's got a max range bow in my opinion right now, or get some huge sword strings, which on Great Hall is not impossible. Get the quadruple downlight. Sounds like an ice skating move. Twilight with the weapon toss, gets the sword.
Again, it looks like Twilight is controlling that middle space. She looks a little bit more contested now.
Both of them fishing for that downlight, especially when they've got that ledge above them, and Twilight
There it is.
gets the side air, and now Stardust has a huge climb right now. Can he do it?
Say what you want about Twilight's playstyle. My man plays tactically, and he will not play unless it's on his terms. Probably read The Art of War by Sun Tzu at least 12 times.
He's got his back to the sun. I'm pretty sure that was in that book, but Stardust gets the dare onto Twilight. He needs to get Twilight off the map right now and use that bow air priority. Side sig not gonna connect.
We are seeing a lot of missed moves by both parties.
Bow's one of those weapons where it's got very precise, but also kind of awkward spots. And there's a dare from Twilight and the weapon toss. Twilight takes it cleanly. That 2 stock advantage wasn't even in the red on that second stock.
That was a very, very quick ending to that game. Just Stardust getting bonked on the head.
Absolutely. Will Stardust make an adjustment, or is he going to stick with his Koji? It seems like people have figured out the answer to this Koji. I mean, coming into this, you and I were both like, Koji's really strong, that 8-dex bow, but it looks like Boo has some secret tech on how to get through that Koji. Magma Bob knows how to do it. Twilight seems to know how to do it. And so Stardust has to make the adjustment and switch to Hattori, the person who he got to Diamond first. First person to get to Diamond was Stardust on Hattori. So he's got to know a thing or two about Hattori.
Or that could have all just been a bait, and he got someone else to Diamond first. I honestly haven't seen Stardust play a lot of Hattori.
Neither have I, but I'm sure he's comfortable with it. I mean, he was playing Koji's sword, and it's not like most people have a decent understanding of spear to some degree. We'll see if Stardust is able to work with it, or maybe it's just a simple fact of having a little bit more defense and a little bit less dex is going to be what he needs. Stardust trying to hit Twilight into that mine. But Twilight playing real safe, going to the other side of the map. Gets a scoop into a nair. Nope, doesn't get the nair.
Stardust playing very wisely, even though he is at a little bit of yellow, was wisely keeping Twilight in between him and that mine. We are seeing a huge spacing game right now.
Stardust has a sword. Twilight has a sword. Both of them fishing for dares right now as their initiator.
They are looking for max range everything right now.
Stardust gets a little bit of a love tap. It almost looks like a gun v gun battle. You know what I mean? Where they're trying to get that max range gun Sair, but instead it's these max range sword dares. Both of them dodging across each other, almost like a choreographed dance. But they're both out for blood, trying to kill each other. And Stardust has the slight health advantage. One dare. And Twilight going to the outside.
Playing Twilight at his own game and coming out on the better side.
Ooh, reads the dare, and instead of going for a recovery, instead gets the ground pound on the Twilight, but Twilight's still alive for now in the red. Stardust.
I would have liked to see an unarmed ground pound there. I'm not sure why Stardust did not commit to that.
I don't 100% no. I would agree that an unarmed ground pound would have been nice. Oh, Stardust with a BM taunt. Can't do too many of those. There is a rule against it, but Stardust, he just wants the one to tilt Twilight, maybe. Using that max range spear neutralite to keep Twilight at bay on the ground. It comes out
You're
so
seeing
fast.
no side lights coming out of Stardust right now because at this point they could just be too punishable.
There's a downlight from Twilight. Stardust going for that sider gets interrupted by the sword neutralite. Neutralite from Stardust. Oh, barely missing that Sair. Once again, we're back to that dance, that precision, trying to get those max range slap with that Sair.
You call it a dance, but it looks like Stardust knows all the moves and Twilight is struggling a little bit. There was the first side light that we've seen.
Stardust. Oh!
Stardust
Wasn't able to do it!
Underestimating the distance that he was from that wall.
I think he thought he was going to get the touch, didn't want to burn the recovery if he didn't have to, but unfortunately was just a little bit too low and then dodged too late.
That was big for Twilight.
That
absolutely
was.
huge.
Stardust
He is in the orange, but Stardust now only just getting a weapon.
Gets one recovery. Can he get the juggle? No, Twilight dodging above it. Stardust gonna stick with the spear. It's got the slight range advantage.
He is electing for that spear spacing right now. The dreaded spear spacing.
Dodges through, goes to the other side. I'm inclined to think that Twilight is staying above this shenanigans area as maybe a little bit of a defense. If Stardust overcommits, he can just dodge down and pop up with a recovery of some sort. I'm not 100% sure, but right now Twilight has been able to get the Sairs that he is so known for.
Wow.
Not able to finish it off, but Stardust took a lot of damage just off those 2-3 Sairs. And health has been basically evened up. Can Stardust finish it off?
Health is very close.
Stardust with
That's
these...
Sair launching. If you can get a good Sair on one side of the map, that could spell disaster.
Cover the shenanigans area. No, doesn't get the dare out in time.
This is a very slow game, but I cannot help but respect Stardust's choice. If you can't beat him your way, you gotta join him. And Stardust has been able to adapt so
Ground
well.
pound from Stardust, that huge hitbox. I want to think he was thinking about a taunt and he was like, I don't want to get banned.
I don't want to hit the quota.
But Stardust, I know we're talking about this like patience and dance and these like max range, but Stardust is playing so intelligently. He's done quite a few just max range dodge-ins and then immediately backs off. Doesn't do anything with it, but just wants to see how Twilight will react to these aggressive dodges. Like that right there. He dodges forward and then backs up. Trying to bait Twilight into a misinput or just some sort of over-aggression, and Twilight, intelligently enough, not falling for it right now.
I love Stardust's adaptation. You see it when every now and then they will do the exact same move right next to each other.
And there's a dare.
Have we seen a signature this game?
I don't think so. We haven't.
We've not seen a signature this game. Both players electing for death by 1,000 cuts.
I mean, right now, since it's such a very, very safe game, nobody wants to make the unsafe play, right? Stardust doesn't want to do those side lights, which are so punishable. To that same vein, I have to assume that it's the same thing with these SIGs. They don't want to make these overcommitments with these SIGs that'll leave them open to something like a 40 to 60 damage string. That would be disastrous for them. And Stardust not fully committing to that ground pound. Twilight was trying to dodge through it, but Stardust just backs off, doesn't want to overcommit again.
Normally from Spear players, you see a lot of downlights into Sairs, sometimes downlight to gravity cancel downlight, but we have seen 0 downlights from Stardust. We haven't even seen that many nairs from Stardust.
Absolutely, Twilight tries to open him up, but once again, backing off to the wall, goes to the shenanigans area, goes to the outside again. Stardust, ground pound, not going to connect. Watch out for the sword gimp, but wasn't even afraid. Gets the recovery. Uh-oh. Oh, Twilight.
Stardust.
To the shenanigans area. Stardust playing very differently. He sees the timer, and he doesn't want to get into the sudden death where all of the health
Twilight
advantage
is
that he has
looking
is
for sudden death.
negated, and Twilight is playing for that sudden death right now. A minute left on the clock. Stardust wants to get this stock, but he knows he can't overcommit, but he's been committing very hard to some slightly more dangerous plays. Can he get the hit? Nope. Twilight got the wall touch, goes for the Sair. Stardust with one dare. Stardust throwing everything. 40 seconds left on the clock. Stardust knows that if it makes it to sudden death, all of the effort that he's put in might as well be negated.
Oh no, oh no, oh
Weapon
no.
toss, Twilight hits his head and Stardust
Wow.
gets it.
Player 2 wins.
Oh,
Twilight was hoping to be saved by that bell. Stardust playing
Playing the clock.
incredibly patient, putting the right amount of pressure in the exact point where he needed to. Twilight made a mistake, and all it took was a little bit of adjustment from Stardust, and he takes the round.
I mean, I know we're talking about how intelligent these players are, and they absolutely are intelligent, but the fact that Stardust and Twilight are both able to keep their calm, their composure, and not just go, you know what, this is dumb, I don't want to play slow and get like over aggress, it's very impressive. It's very impressive to me that they haven't just, you know, lost their cool and just kind of started throwing out six, saying, screw it, you're in the red, I'm gonna try to kill you with just some wild play and hope it hits. Because I know for a fact I would be doing that. I would be like, you know what, this is dumb. I don't want to play against someone who's just sitting on the wall. I'm gonna just do stupid stuff and hope it works. But
you outlined probably a good 60 to 70% of my ranked games.
Absolutely. But we're good. Twilight, he's like, ban, let's go. Stardust he's like, I gotta chill, man. We just played for
Stardust,
7 to 8 minutes straight.
Stardust is in Twilight's head.
And even like, as much as it's like a patience game, they're thinking constantly about that range, that distance. Nobody wants to make the misstep. And here we go, game 3, Stardust versus Twilight.
2, 1,
It's
brawl.
it might be slow and paced. They're sticking with their same characters, or we might see something completely different, completely mix up this mind game that Stardust has, and play a little bit more aggressive. We're seeing a lot of jumping right now. Stardust gets the ground pound, tries to read the jump up from Twilight, but Twilight doesn't go for the panic jump.
It looks like Stardust is gonna stick with, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely, he's using that mind. That is the line you don't want to cross, Twilight. And Twilight, he says, all right, I won't. We're playing this out. We're going the full 8 minutes. Dodges in, and there's the downlight. Stardust doesn't get the Sair. Unfortunate drop for him.
That's the first side. Actually, that's the second sidelight. Sorry. From Stardust that we've seen.
He's working with this max range Sair right now, and it's absolutely working, just chipping away at Twilight. And Twilight seems to be going a little bit more aggressive right now, trying to punish these ground pounds from Stardust. I think Twilight knows that he can't let Stardust chip away at him. He's basically got to play it like Stardust has a gun in his hands. He's got to get in on him. Oh, but gets caught by the ground pound. And Stardust now with a significant lead. Ground pound. He's going to throw the horn away. Can he get the recovery? Yes, he can.
Huge lead right now. Absolutely huge lead.
Twilight currently unarmed right now, and Stardust hasn't been able to make a huge advantage of. That's the first Sig we've seen. A little bit off the mark, but Twilight gets the sword, and once again, line in the dirt. Don't cross it. Twilight says, I'm gonna blow up this line, and let's go. Gets the down Sig.
Ooh, the
Can
down
he get
Sig.
the
That was the
Gimp?
first Sig
Can
from
he?
Twilight.
The Gimp. Stardust taken out so clean in Twilight.
Oh, Twilight with
the
the salt taunt.
Stardust respect salute, says, you got me.
I
Stocks
love
and
that
health
Twilight
evened
didn't
up.
aggress too hard. He was right on the edge of that platform, so if Stardust had any jumps left, he'd be able to answer with a dare while also not risking too much.
This time, Twilight has the health advantage. Stardust, that's the third sidelight we've seen. And Twilight Side airs. Can he keep it? No, Stardust going real high. Gets back to the ground. Has the jumps. Doesn't have the spear that he wanted. He's going to throw it away, get the spear, and he's going to go back to the stair game. I mean, Stardust is the kind of player who is not afraid to do what it takes to win. Back when sitting on the wall was arguably considered OP and a very optimum way to play, he, I believe, won a tournament doing only that. And so Stardust has no problem with just using whatever it takes. And while that might be frustrating to play against, I mean, I gotta commend Twilight. He hasn't been playing too wild so far, and has been able to keep control of this health advantage. And that's the Sair he needed. Can he finish it off? Yes, he can.
It is. This is, I think, the first time in this set that Twilight has been in the stock lead.
And Stardust gives him the salute again. He's like, you figured it out, son. These guys, they got to respect each other. They're in the same clan. I'm sure they play with each other quite a bit. So none of this is 2BM. Dares from Twilight, staying above Stardust. There's a Sair from Twilight. Ground pound not going to connect. Twilight dodging out and tries to punish it. I like this adjustment from Twilight. He's not overcommitting, and Stardust is actually throwing out some wild ground pounds, which Twilight has been able to capitalize on. And that could be it. Yes, it is. Twilight ends up taking it 2-0 over Stardust. Stardust with that patient game, it just wasn't quite enough. Twilight says GG. Do you have any parting words?
I'm not sure what was different.
I think
between that game or the last.
I think it was just it definitely felt very differently paced. Stardust, I mean, he wanted to do that Sair spacing, but I think Twilight, he changed up his aggression. He was a little bit more aggressive at different times, and I think that just slight adjustment in timing, in just movement, was enough to throw Stardust off. Stardust went, like I said, went for some slightly wild ground pounds, and Twilight was able to capitalize on it. But let's see what the analysts have to say. Hey, guys. Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Talk about those games.
That was certainly interesting.
Oh, man. I honestly thought we were going to see sudden death in that second match.
Yeah, we were counting down the time, and they looked slated to get something like that. But and Twilight was gunning for it. But of course, he fell to his doom before he could get away with that.
Yeah, you could see the direct shift in his play right around that 2-minute mark when he was deep in the red and Stardust was like barely touched, just beyond white. And you could tell he was just like, all right, I'm just going to push this to sudden death because it's, you know, it doesn't really pay off. It's far too risky to try and, you know, fight back from that deficit where one strike can knock me out.
Yeah, so, you know, that third game, though, Twilight was able to basically figure out how to respond to Stardust's, you know, play and get in the little bits of hits that he could in between Stardust's random side airs and spacing and, you know, throw out hitboxes.
Yeah, so it was really interesting to see after that first match, Stardust shifting his play and just kind of trying to outspace Twilight. And Twilight, you know, kind of relies on that, and he'd never adapted his game plan to what Stardust started doing, and it definitely showed. Stardust started just eking out damage, just slowly building those gaps, slowly winning it. He was like, all right, I don't care how long this is going to take. I'm coming out ahead in each of these exchanges, and as long as I keep that trend going, it's only a matter of time before the match ends in my favor. And, I mean, we definitely saw that. Twilight tried to go for the sudden death, but, again, running away for 2 minutes straight where you're one hit away, all Stardust needed was that one good weapon throw, and that was it.
And he definitely got it. And, you know, Twilight suffered from being just under that that block on Thunder Guard, and when he did the recovery, he just sort of recovered right into the bottom of the stage with nowhere to go. So, you know, Twilight capitalized on Stardust capitalized on Twilight's inability to move around properly.
Yeah,
try
I
to get
mean,
the sudden death.
we saw Stardust become a lot safer in that second match and also in the third. And I think that's ultimately what led to him losing the set there. I know we were talking about this as the match was going on. There were a lot of instances where Stardust would go for the sword down light. He was fishing for these combos where a neutral light or a side light would have been a sure punish on Twilight for their 20 to 24 damage. And the downlight combos, they can reach upwards of 50, 60 damage. But if you miss the sure punish like 3 or 4 times, your potential damage threshold is so far below even just hitting those easy punishes now. So
Yeah,
where you're at like
absolutely.
an expected, 100 damage that you could have gotten just from side lights and neutral lights, you're fishing for a combo that does 50 or 60, didn't really work out. And we saw that a lot in his spear play, neglecting those neutral airs. I mean, they
It
don't
was
do a
all side
ton of
airs.
damage, but it's a sure punish every time.
Right. And so, I mean, it became pretty clear after game one that Stardust's plan was basically, move away, throw out side lights. If Twilight runs into them, that's free damage. If he doesn't, then you just keep going around. And, that was Stardust's prerogative. Of course, in the end, Twilight figured out how to counter that, and Stardust paid the price.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting, going from this, we saw Twilight not really able to adapt to that. And I'm kind of curious to see, as he ends up going against, either Magma Bob or Pugsy over the course of a set, especially now that we're entering the best of fives, the adaptation is going to be key. And
Absolutely.
I mean, against such a blatant and entire shift as Stardust did between game 1 and then game 2 and 3, if Twilight didn't adjust to that properly, and it was a very blatant shift, I'm interested to see how he will fare against some of the subtle shifts that Magma Bob and Pugsy are known for working into their play.
Mm-hmm. And so, with that match out of the way, we're down to 3 people: Pugsy, Magma Bob, and Twilight. It'll definitely be interesting seeing, I believe Twilight seemed very eager to get a more aggressive playstyle. I have to imagine that we're going to see more aggressive playstyles coming from here on out and less
Right.
of what we recently saw.
Especially, Magma Bob and Pugsy, 2 of the more aggressive players in the entire
Absolutely.
game.
And it'll definitely be interesting with Magma Bob's strong showing in King's Pass. We'll see if Pugsy allows that to happen at all, and if Magma Bob can capitalize on any sort of shenanigans area movement. Pugsy was really strong with Moose in Thunderguard, and so
Right.
The shenanigans area in Thunderguard is very distinctly different because there's lots of space to move to the other side, whereas in a place like Thunderguard, you don't really get that option.
Right, yeah, Thunderguard being so much wider than like King's Pass, which we saw Magma Bob put to excellent use against Stardust, I think, previously.
Yeah, and in King's Pass, they added those sloping sides so that getting all the way back around is pretty difficult.
All right, well, guys, thank you for that very brilliant analysis. And right now, we're going to get ready for the Pugsy versus Magma Bob match, and I'll be looking forward to hear what you guys have to say about that after this. What is up? I haven't switched rooms. What is up, Sparky? What do you think is gonna happen? This is gonna be a very differently paced match than the last one.
Absolutely.
Which I mean, like we said during the match, you do what you got to do to win. It was very intelligently played from both players, but Magma Bob and Pugsy, much different play styles, much more aggressive, a much more I'm gonna just go get the kill as soon as possible. Not necessarily meaning like gimps and things, but there's just a lot less like I don't want to say like optimum play, because it's not like their play is inoptimum, but it's a lot less safe. There's a lot more I'll make the big risk and it'll have the bigger reward. And they're not afraid to do it. So whenever you're ready, we can give them the okay. Good
I'm ready to go ahead and go. I'm excited to see what happens. Pugsy and Magma Bob are no disrespect to the players themselves, but they are very momentum based players. Where if Magma Bob's winning, he'll start up that steamroller and let it go. We've seen Pugsy tilt before, and we've seen Magma Bob just completely fall apart. So I'm excited to see what happens.
All right, well, we will see. Here we go. Game 1, Magma Bob versus Pugsy. Pugsy, he's sticking with this Ada pick, which, I mean, I can't fault him for it because it most definitely has worked so far. Doesn't get the dare. Magma Bob actually able to get that recovery inside of him. And there it is. Side air into a neutral light from Magma Bob. Just those slight differences in play style. You're seeing right there. Magma Bob keeping that string alive. Gets the ground pound. Pugsy trying to answer back. Side air from Magma Bob. Mind toss. And Pugsy.
We saw Pugsy do work with Ada before. It looks like he's getting the worst into the trade back and forth here.
And I mean, there we see Magma Bob went for a risky side sig, and Pugsy able to outspace it. Gravity cancel neutral sig not gonna connect for Pugsy.
Kind of surprised Pugsy went for that there.
I'm not sure if maybe he was trying to read a ground pound from Magma Bob. Oh! With a spike ball onto his head. It's gonna take him down.
Magma Bob can get back to that sword. He does. Weapon starving Pugsy right now. Weapon starved is not where you want to be when you have 3 armor. Big bear.
That bear. Gravity or slide charge down sig not gonna connect. Pugsy. Can he get this stock? ASAP the down sig just a little bit off the mark with that. Ooh, side sig not gonna work out for Magma Bob. Pugsy trying to push those side airs. Down light into a down air from Magma Bob. Not able to quite finish it off, but look at the damage. That bomb not going to connect. Oh, dare not going to connect, but Pugsy doesn't have the movement to get to the wall. And Magma Bob looking at a 3-stock right now. Scoop into a nair. Nair doesn't connect, but he doesn't care. Goes for the neutral light.
This is exactly what I was talking about earlier.
Ooh, but the
Magma
ground
Bob
pound.
finally falling more than a full stock ahead of Pugsy right now. Pugsy, I believe, was one of the first NA to reach Diamond.
I mean, there are very few people in Diamond nonetheless, and Pugsy is one of them. Magma Bob using that chase dodge into the neutral light. He's definitely been playing with that chase dodge, knows how to use it to keep his aggression going. But Pugsy spaces out the weapon toss, gets a side air on Magma Bob's head. Magma Bob. Ooh.
Pugsy probably going to
that
church tomorrow after being right near that mine.
That down sig not gonna work out. Magma Bob, can he finish it off? Pugsy running out of jumps on the edge.
Oh, I'm surprised Magma Bob did not aggress there.
Absolutely.
Pugsy blew everything, including the dodge.
I think he was trying to see whether Pugsy was going to stay on the left side or try to go out to the other side. But Pugsy ends up getting that kill with that side sig. And now can Magma Bob finish it off? Or will Pugsy somehow be able to ratchet up that damage? Neutral air is going to give him space that he needs. Downlight drops for Magma Bob.
If Magma Bob can keep his composure, he should have this game. Ooh. Pugsy spacing it out, playing extremely safe. Putting on that damage. Magma Bob getting into the dark orange.
Pugsy going into the toolkit. Has the ratchet, but Magma Bob has the side air. Game 1 going the way of Magma Bob. I mean, while Magma Bob seemed very much in control through most of that, Pugsy did work, and Pugsy immediately switches to Bodvar and is like, let's go. We're going in. Game 2, Twilight, or sorry, Thunderguard Stadium, not Twilight Grove. Pugsy versus Magma Bob, and it's Bodvar v Bodvar. He's switching to his main. Magma Bob has the sword. Pugsy has the hammer. Oh, dare. But Pugsy's fine. Down sig not going to work out for Magma Bob.
Magma Bob throwing dares.
Stomp
Pugsy
into a neutral light.
Side light into neutral light.
Stomp into a side sig from Pugsy. Will this be
Magma Bob barely
enough?
holding on.
Magma Bob makes it back to the ground, has the jumps, tries to turn the aggression onto Pugsy, but Pugsy makes it back alive and gets the side light to send Magma Bob off, and he doesn't get the distance. If he was just a little bit higher, that dare would have been enough to give him his jumps when he touched the wall, but unfortunately Magma Bob was not able to do it. And now Pugsy with a distinct advantage over Magma Bob.
Wow.
Wow. Neutral
There
air,
is the
side
momentum
air,
this
side
time
air.
in favor of Pugsy.
Pugsy, that simple character switch is enough, and the ground pound on the
Oh
Magma Bob
my gosh.
gonna finish him off, and Pugsy. I mean, I know I jinxed Magma Bob on that 3-stock last time, but Pugsy at maybe half damage, 70%, and
We are seeing an almost
still going.
complete 180
Recovery.
from last match.
Magma Bob.
Pugsy has a legitimate chance at a 3-stock here. Not in the red just yet.
Side air from Pugsy, wants to keep it going. Magma Bob turns it around, and that dare could be enough. Yes, it is.
Pugsy chasing extremely hard under the stage. Just ready to put it all on the line. Pugsy still with 2 stocks left. More than a full stock
Ground
ahead of
pound.
Magma Bob. There's the ground pound. Not afraid to go unarmed.
Ooh. I thought Pugsy was for sure going to go for a ground pound onto that recovery, but instead wanted to see where Magma Bob would go out to. Magma Bob still alive for now, but he's in the red against Pugsy. That's the gravity cancel sidelight hit. Dare from Pugsy.
Big dare.
One more.
There's another one.
There it is, and Pugsy answers back full force. Very dominant play from Pugsy. Much more dominant than Magma Bob was able to pull out in game 1. We'll see if Magma Bob's able to make the adjustment that he needs. Or will Pugsy just run it through? This is a best-of-5 set in this winner's finals. Oh.
Absolutely dominant play from Pugsy that match. I don't know what was different than the match before. We saw that huge sequence of hammer hit after hammer hit after hammer hit from Pugsy onto Magma Bob, and getting hit that many times in a row with hammer.
But we
That
got
was a
the
very
pass.
frustrating place to
We
be.
got the King's Pass. We saw what Magma Bob was able to do against Stardust on King's Pass. Will he be able to do the same stuff to Pugsy? I would be inclined to say no. And Pugsy's got that hammer advantage right now in that shenanigans area, and Magma Bob has to
Oh.
respect the hammer. Magma Bob's still unarmed. There's his first weapon pickup. Down airs from Pugsy could be the death of Magma Bob. Dare doesn't connect. And now Pugsy. Both of them even health right now. Dare.
Both competitors going for that all out.
Oh! He got the wall touch, but that was it.
Wow.
That apparently had enough force. I was not expecting that. I thought Magma Bob was
Pugsy waiting
gonna be
that
safe.
out.
Down sig from Magma Bob, but Pugsy's gonna go out to the outside and is safe for now. Gravity cancel side heavy, not gonna work for Magma Bob. Neutral light. Downlight drops the downlight, but gets
Wow.
the ground pound off the adjust. Neutral light from Pugsy into a side light, but Magma Bob takes it with that side air.
That's pretty much the first time we saw any play that wasn't in the middle shenanigan area.
But we're seeing a very different showing from Magma Bob on this map compared to what happened against Stardust. And I don't want to say it's just a ping advantage that worked out for Magma Bob, but Magma Bob able to get an unarmed string, nice downlight into a
Just
side
evened it
air.
up. Right there, he just evened it up.
I'm surprised he didn't go for a dare and want to play that shenanigans out, but recovery from Pugsy. Oh,
recovery.
weapon drop. Magma Bob doesn't have the movement. Pugsy.
Hammer
in the lead.
hitbox when thrown is absolutely devastating.
It's massive,
in that
it's
shenanigan area.
spinning, and it is going to take up most of that shenanigans area. Can Magma Bob finish it off? Wants the Sair, wants the recovery, but can't get it. Ground pound, what?
Not sure what that was.
What? Oh!
Oh, pulling out the Stevenator, the gravity cancel down sig,
Playbook.
throwing him to that side.
Gravity cancel down sig onto Pugsy. Ground pound onto Pugsy. Pugsy wanted to turn it around. Thought for sure Magma Bob was going to go below him. But instead, Magma Bob stayed on top. And makes it back safe. Pugsy, not too much damage on him despite that huge string from Magma Bob. Recovery. Weapon drop. Can he get the ground pound? Pugsy might be able to turn around. Magma Bob's going to respect. He's going to
That
respect.
mine. Magma Bob immediately taking that mine away.
Dare from Magma Bob. Don't
Absolutely perfect timing
Don't
from Magma Bob right
do
there.
it. This is a thing I've been preaching for months. Don't ground pound Magma Bob if you don't think it's gonna hit, because Magma Bob will punish the living daylights out of you. Don't do it. And there you go. Pugsy learns his lesson. Hopefully he'll actually learn his lesson and respect Magma Bob, because Magma Bob will turn that ground pound around on you. Pugsy trying to hit him into the mine, though. Here we are in game 4 of this winners finals.
If you've heard Magma Bob before, you know he is a man of few words, but I swear when Pugsy was ground pounding there, a slight grin just came on Magma Bob's face as he knew exactly what was about to happen.
Absolutely. You gotta believe in it. Pugsy with that hammer. He's staying in the shenanigans area this time. Magma Bob has the bomb. Not going to go for the bounce. Instead went for the direct toss. Here's the ground pound. Can Magma Bob punish? No. Pugsy goes to the outside. Side air onto Pugsy. Down sig not going to connect. Pugsy not able to punish. There's a stomp into a side air. Both of them even in health. Magma Bob, there it is! There it is, the punish, but Pugsy makes it back. Not quite enough damage, and the recovery from Magma Bob. Pugsy's gonna have to go to the shenanigans area. Gravity cancel bear, not gonna work.
Pugsy is in dangerous territory.
Ooh, but then hits!
Pugsy
Pugsy
was
doesn't care.
just close enough. Just close enough.
Care. He's like, I don't learn my lesson. Ground
Magma
pound
Bob
again.
Turning it around. Magma Bob immediately saying, any lead you thought you were going to catch on me, no way, brother.
Both of them, same weapon, same character, almost same health. But Pugsy with these side airs and these down airs. Downlight side air from Pugsy. Magma Bob answers back. That was a cute move from Magma Bob. You don't see that too often. The downward angle dodge into an immediate recovery. But Pugsy in the
Pugsy
advantage
definitely
right
getting
now.
the better of this trade right here.
Magma Bob with these angle dodges. Very interesting movement. A lot less horizontal and vertical, but the side air from Pugsy might be enough to finish off Magma Bob's side. Gravity cancel.
Wow, the
Excuse me.
neutral light gravity canceled was enough to take out Magma Bob.
That huge force, and now Pugsy with a distinct lead, only in the orange right now. Magma Bob getting caught though. Weapon advantage for Pugsy is distinct, and Magma Bob
Oh no,
didn't
Magma
get the
Bob!
touch.
Player one
You
wins.
didn't get the touch. You saw him go for the dare, but he didn't get the touch. And throws away that third stock, but maybe it's for the story. It's for the story of game 5 of this winners finals. Winner of this
I'm really
goes to
excited.
grand finals. Loser of this goes down to fight Twilight in the Bodvar v Bodvar matchup. We've got 3 Bodvars in our top 3. I just realized. BMG.
That's the first Z we've seen of this tournament today so far. I wonder how Magma Bob is going to come back from that. Like I said earlier, he is very momentum based. If he starts losing, he sometimes tends to fall further down that hole. Maybe he gets in his own head and then just completely tanks. Let's see if he can just say chalk that one up to I underestimated the horizontal distance of the dare. I'm not gonna worry about it. Let's
I think
go.
he's got to shake it off. But I mean, as much as Magma Bob is a momentum-based player, I think Pugsy is 1,000 times more just volatile of a player. Magma Bob, between the two, has been slightly more
that gravity
paced.
cancel sensing.
But Pugsy right now with the health advantage. Magma Bob trying to even it up. Oh!
The head bonk.
Pugsy takes it. And right
After
now,
that head bonk,
Pugsy
knew it was in his hands.
he's got a very big advantage. Pugsy, he's got to be smiling now because it is... I don't want to say it's his to lose because Magma Bob can very easily come back. Right now, Pugsy's got such a distinct advantage. Magma Bob's got to come up with some big play. Scoop doesn't go for the nair. Instead, tries to read the dodge. Scoop again. No. Weapon toss into a ground pound from Pugsy to give him the space.
Ooh,
but the
big
side
save.
sig from Magma Bob. Pugsy makes it back to the wall. He's got the jumps. Can he get the recovery? Yes, he can. Weapon
This
toss.
is not good for Magma Bob. I love that Pugsy moved just enough to the left that the ground pound would not hit him and he'd still barely be able to make it back. That was amazing forethought from Pugsy. That stops somehow hitting.
But the
Magma Bob
mine.
responds again. Demolitions expert Magma Bob here.
He's been playing that demo man on TF2 or other explosive reference, but Magma Bob with the weapon toss into a neutral light. Weapon tosses again. Magma Bob seems to be adjusting and opting for a little bit more of a weapon toss focused play style. Both of them dodged through, but Pugsy able to get the down light first. And now Pugsy, he's just got to clean up this final stock. Keep
Pugsy a little under a stock
going.
ahead. Ooh.
You gotta respect the mine, though. Ooh. Pugsy almost bounces back. That angle!
Cheeky little Magma Bob.
Pulled out the protractor, got the angle on that one. Mine into Pugsy, reads the recovery, and now Magma Bob has evened it up. The power of explosives, Magma Bob, the demo man right now.
That's something that I love about this game. A lot of people play mirror matches with no items on Final Destination and Smash, but here we play with explosives in the game, and they're an absolute, pardon the pun, blast.
Pugsy with the advantage right now, though. Magma Bob, I'm borderline curious if Magma Bob's just like, where's the next explosive? That mine? That's mine. I'm gonna go get it.
Mine is mine.
There it is. There's the mine. Doesn't get the trap set up. Instead, Pugsy's gonna get a nice dare into a nair. Weapon toss not gonna work for Magma Bob. Has the hammer. Ooh, Sair not able to beat out the dare. Ooh, but he gets the
Pugsy
bounce.
was waiting for that hammer recovery before engaging.
Mine. Trap in place. Pugsy's got to be careful.
Magma Bob was looking for that spot dodge into the side light.
Absolutely, but I think Pugsy is more than used to that.
But Pugsy's a little bit better than that at this point.
Recovery can't get the nair follow up. There's a recovery.
We have
Gets
a
the
double
nair.
recovery?
Both of them in the red. Now we're seeing a very different pace from Pugsy. A lot safer. He knows that it is.
Oh, Pugsy
but
had
he sees
that
the
in his
opportunity.
hand.
And there it is. Pugsy takes it 3-2 over Magma Bob. Both of them trading a match each, 1-1. Very well played. But up next, we've got Magma Bob and Twilight. Let's give it over to the analysts, excuse me, real quick, to see what they have to say.
It's game 5.
It is game 5. How are you guys doing that match,
What
man?
an intense set. Well done by both players.
I mean, we were going nuts in here. That was, oh my god. The first two matches, just going 3 stocks to 1, except the opposite way in each one. So fast, aggressive, both of them taking decisive games. Then the next one, very close game from Magma Bob, really key punishes in those shenanigans areas on King's Pass. I mean, we've said it before, we've seen it before, he loves that map, he performs so well there. And then Pugsy answering back with, again, a pretty convincing win, 2-stocking Magma Bob once again. So that final match, there was so much tension going on.
You could see Pugsy's ability. Like, both of them had very clear top picks for their maps. Magma loves King's Pass, and Pugsy loves Thunderguard.
Oh, yeah.
And that was so important throughout this match, those map picks. At the end, they both went to Mammoth. Neither of them had the really clear advantage, but I mean, by the time we got to the third stock, Magma had closed it up. Both were in red. Both were looking for even the slightest hits, and Pugsy ended up being able to punish Magma Bob's gravity cancel downlight, where he burned too much. He burned one jump, he burned his dodge, and as soon as Pugsy hit him, it was basically over.
Yeah, and I mean, that wasn't the first time that we saw it. I mean, Magma Bob did a phenomenal job fighting back with those explosives. I know you were talking about that earlier, Duke. And just finding those really good toss angles, the one off the stage, the trade, which was amazing with that hammer throw. He's like, Pugsy, you're tossing that hammer? Here, have a mine. We'll trade. It'll be great. And then, you know, he just gave up a stock. Creed and I were talking about it during the match when he accidentally dodged into the bottom side of the corner trying to recover. And that kind of forced him to then make his way back with the recovery. And by that point, I mean, Pugsy was just there for the easy punish and kill.
Yeah, absolutely. And Magma Bob is really strong in edge guards, but I think that death right in the beginning was so crucial in changing the pace of that match, because after he died trying to do these edge guard tactics, he really didn't do that very much. And, you know, the rest of the match.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, you see it in a lot of competitive arenas when somebody tries to do their game plan and it ends up backfiring or something goes wrong and they falter. It's tough to come back from that. They kind of stray from what they've known. They deviate from their game plan, and it shows in a little bit weaker play overall. I mean, you see it from, you know, if you want to use an example of like boxing, ever since Pacquiao got that insane knockout on him where he hit the mat, you know, everyone says he never fought the same after that. And, you know, this is just kind of a microcosm of that.
Yeah, and definitely these three players, all of them, Magma Bob, Twilight, Pugsy, they've got all three of these fantastic, you know, Bodvars. Someone in chat was pointing out all three of them are Bodvars. I mean, this is a full-on battle to see whose Bodvar can be the best, and they've all got their really specific strengths, you know? Magma Bob is really great at those ledge guards. Twilight's really great at, you know, certain spacings. And finally we've got Pugsy, whose aggressive playstyle is just really strong.
All right, well, thank you for that brilliant analysis. But right now, we're going in to the losers finals. It's Twilight versus Magma Bob. Twilight is excited. He is ready to go. So I'm gonna hop on over to Sparky. Give me 1 second. Sparky, we've got Twilight versus Magma Bob. Bodvar v Bodvar. We're just gonna go ahead and say they're ready. No need for introductions. We've seen these guys plenty before. But are we gonna see? Are we going to see the similar play style that we saw with Stardust versus Twilight, or are we going to see something very different out of Magma Bob? What do you think?
I'm honestly not sure. I think we're going to see Magma Bob play like Magma Bob.
You think we're going to see?
I don't think he's going to try and mirror Twilight.
All right. Well, here we are. They're on Mammoth. Twilight versus Magma Bob. Once again, Bodvar v Bodvar. Twilight starts off with a nair to give him room to pick up that sword, and then the aggression from Twilight.
Who is this?
I mean, I guess he saw the success that Pugsy had on Magma Bob, but this is very different playstyle from Twilight, and it is absolutely working. Magma Bob with the sword. Can he answer back the damage? That is the question. Neutral Sig gets Twilight off the map. Is that enough? Side air from Twilight. Neutral air from Magma Bob gives him the space that he needs. Neutral Sig doesn't connect. Twilight ready for it. Gets a dare onto Magma Bob's head.
This is a different Twilight.
Finishes it off with that nair.
This is a completely different Twilight. And I love it.
I mean, you saw the in-game chat. Twilight was getting antsy. He was like, "Let's go, I'm ready." And I think that is exactly what we're seeing. This is Twilight when he's had that time to get himself pumped, and we're seeing a much different Twilight. And it's not a bad Twilight by any means. It's an exciting Twilight. But Magma Bob is staying even with him. They're going toe to toe.
I don't know what brought this out in Twilight, because he is no stranger to the hate on his playstyle. I don't see it getting to him right now as opposed to any other time. Oh my god!
That side sig. I think I mean I'm inclined to believe that part of it was the banter between Stardust and Twilight. I think there's a little bit of animosity between them after their set. And maybe that this is Twilight saying, "Look, I didn't have to play super spacey and slow against you. I could have gone aggressive. I was adjusting to your playstyle, and here we are, Twilight going much more aggressive, much more insane, and Magma Bob able to take that stock. But I mean, to the point of different playstyles against different people, I think we're seeing a lot more of dangerous plays, and Magma Bob's able to capitalize a little bit on some of these to the point where they're staying even in stocks.
There's 2 triple down lights back to back. Magma Bob hit all of his. Twilight was unable to hit the third one.
Magma Bob in a lot of trouble right now, but he makes it back to the wall.
Twilight going mono a mono.
Oh, but the dares from Twilight are just too much. Twilight takes it cleanly with that aggression. Game 1 going the way of Twilight once again. This is a best of 5 set. Twilight versus Magma Bob. I don't know how Magma Bob's gonna be able to adjust. Once again, it's a very similar. It's just more aggression from his opponent. Is that the answer to Magma Bob?
I mean, they've obviously scrimmed before, so I don't know if maybe Twilight's other playstyle just doesn't work against Magma Bob. I honestly don't know.
I mean, maybe. I'm sure they've played quite a bit before. But here we are, Twilight going for the unarmed string, doesn't get the neutral air to finish it off. Ooh, that side air from Magma Bob almost knocks Twilight into the mine, and Twilight able to keep Magma Bob in the air long enough that Magma Bob was not able to knock him into that mine.
We're seeing more just unbridled aggression coming out from Twilight.
Scoop from Magma Bob. Not quite enough. Oh, he was going for the bear, but it didn't finish him off. Sares from Twilight. I mean, to some regard, it is the same Sare focused playstyle, but it's with a different mentality. It's a lot more pushing these Sares forward into his opponent than it is waiting for his opponent to walk into the Sares, if that makes any sense at all. Twilight looking to get this set 3-0. And Magma Bob having some trouble with it. Knocks the sword out of his hands, but not able to keep the weapon advantage. Mine. He's got the trap. But Twilight's not going to fall for the sidelight. He's not going to fall for the sidelight. This is Twilight. He's using that range. He knows Magma Bob can't come in onto that Sare neutral light.
Magma Bob was looking for that spot dodge. Real close to that mine. He's going to hit him with a Sare just for his troubles.
Got his pants singed a little bit, but it's okay. Twilight, still huge health advantage. Magma Bob with his hammer, not able to push the advantage quite yet, but he's trying to keep Twilight off of that weapon. Scoop from Twilight.
We saw Twilight not wanting to go in unarmed against that hammer.
And there's the nair from Twilight.
That stock.
Neutral air from Magma Bob, tries to answer back, give himself some room to get that weapon. Can't get the scoop off of that downlight. Magma Bob throwing out these bears a little bit wildly, and Twilight's been able to punish, I think, basically every one of them.
Ooh, that big nair. Denying Twilight a weapon. Oh, that Sig might have killed Twilight, but he came in with an unarmed neutral light.
Scoop from Magma Bob. Can he finish this off? He's got to get it quick. These scoops are just not enough right now at the bottom of Blackguard. Side air from Twilight. Could be death. Magma Bob not able to make it through before getting hit by another Sare, and there it is.
The down Sig.
Twilight.
Twilight looking completely dominant right now.
I mean,
absolutely dominant.
If we're gonna go with 1-to-1s right now, Twilight, with how dominant he's been playing against Magma Bob right now, if he's able to keep this momentum going in against Pugsy, that's gonna be absolutely huge. And I'm not sure if Pugsy's gonna be ready for it.
But do you think switches up his play style going into his next opponent?
It's possible, but you know what I'm really thinking is that Magma Bob should think about switching characters. Not necessarily do it, but just do it to kind of take some of that wind out of Twilight's sails. But instead, he's locked in Bodvar, and we're going into Game 3. Magma Bob is on the cusp of getting knocked out. Twilight about to go to Grand Finals. Here we are, Game 3, Twilight versus Magma Bob on Mammoth.
Oh,
And Twilight with the big unarmed.
we see Magma Bob coming out of the gate throwing hands, but Twilight definitely looking huge.
Magma Bob doesn't miss the dare that time.
Now we're seeing a little bit more of control from Twilight with that hammer. But then he gets that sword and goes for it.
Well, right now, he just kept Magma Bob off a weapon for 30 seconds. Twilight didn't need to get aggressive. He had the advantage just inherently with that weaponry. And it was on Magma Bob to get through it. And right now, Magma Bob's struggling right now. Gets hit by the sword toss.
Was that an early dodge, or was that just for the space? He didn't expect that sword to come flying at his face?
Maybe he just missed, he messed up on the angling. I'm not 100% sure. But things are not looking good for the demo man Magma Bob. Dares from Twilight. Side air from Magma Bob. Bomb toss. Tries to get the read, but Twilight not going to fall for it. Magma Bob chasing that bomb. I think Magma Bob he's in having fun mode now.
I like what we're seeing from Twilight right now. This game, it's not ruthless aggression, it's organized chaos. And that's, I think, is a great play style for Twilight to have, because he has the patience and he has the control.
Bomb.
And he has the finger dexterity and the
Side
mind
air.
to move it fast.
Magma Bob right now. He's going to need a big explosive, only explosive on the map right now. Just exploded off that wall. It's gonna take something sort of a miracle for Magma Bob to take it right now, given that this stock is basically in the bank for Twilight, and it's just a matter of him taking it out. And there it is. Twilight, complete weapon control, borderline a stock advantage. It's gonna take something for Magma Bob to come back.
Now we're starting to see more of the Twilight that we've come to know and love to hate.
Side air from Magma Bob's gonna give him a little bit of space. Twilight looking for the dare string, not able to get it. There's a side light to push Magma Bob around. Magma Bob gets underneath that side air with that unarmed side air. Nice nair. Can he keep the juggle? Dare. Sair, not gonna connect. Downlight, side air. Should finish it off, but Magma Bob, you're getting rid of your one tool. The weapon advantage is already gone before Twilight can even touch the ground. And things aren't looking good for Magma Bob again. Mine. Placed down. Neutral light, not enough.
Not gonna be enough.
I'm surprised he didn't immediately go for the side light. And that should be it for Magma Bob. Yes,
That's
it
the
is.
game.
Twilight takes it 3-0 over Magma Bob. Anything you want to say before we switch over to the analysts?
I don't know if this Twilight comes out in private when he's not streaming and he's scrimming in secret with the Boo Boys behind closed doors, but I like this Twilight. I respect the other Twilight, but I like this Twilight.
I mean, it's definitely a lot more explosive to watch, but with that, we are going to transition over to the analyst desk. What do you guys think of this Twilight playstyle?
Man, I mean, Twilight coming all the way back from round 1 of losers to get back into the winner's bracket is really incredible.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
And we'll see if now he has to fight Pugsy with that bracket reset. It'll be difficult, but it can most certainly be done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody expected a 3-0 here against Magma Bob. And I mean, Magma Bob fought back really well at the end there. You know, I was pulling for him to take that game just to extend the set a little bit, but you know, Twilight just held on to the lead that he created and just wouldn't let go.
Yeah, And there were some definitely interesting plays there. Magma Bob, one thing I noticed a lot was that he liked to use like this sort of short jump, gravity cancel, light attack, whether it was, neutral light or a down light. And, sometimes it worked beautifully, but I think more often than not, he got punished for it. And that really hurt him through the set.
Yeah, definitely, because, even in just those cases where he went for that, missed the attack, you're still without a dodge for the next 3 seconds. So Twilight was able to maneuver around him so much more and really just kind of pick his spots, and that's what led to these massive damage gaps. And then in those worst case scenarios where he actually got hit out of it, you're without a dodge for so long.
Without a dodge, and you've used a jump.
Right, because the cooldowns for your dodges go from the start of your dodge. So if you cancel out of it, you're technically vulnerable for an even longer portion than normally.
And of course, when you use a dodge for a gravity cancel, or when you use a dodge in the air and can't return to a floor, that's a 3-second cooldown. And in a match that's this fast paced, that is enormous.
Yeah, those 3 seconds can seem like an eternity.
Right. And so, we saw him get punished for that a number of times. There was some great use of the Mammoth platform with I saw some cool downlight combos. Magma got a downlight side air. Twilight tried to go for the triple but couldn't get the gravity cancel downlight.
Yeah, Twilight did get those unarmed combos though. I know he's practiced those a lot and it's definitely paying off. Pretty much anytime I see him go for them, he gets them consistently.
Yeah, and those unarmed combos, just incredible damage. You saw Egg Soup way back bomb himself, and that didn't allow Twilight to get the unarmed combo. That kind of thing is so important, and Twilight's inability to inflict that damage on Egg Soup, you can see how apparent that is in this match with Magma Bob, where he got that damage and it did so much so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, as we were saying, I would have loved to have seen his match against LDZ. We were just talking about that. Because, I mean, going from the strong showing that he's had in all the games that we've been able to stream and see him in, he's had pretty commanding leads. The Stardust one was a little bit of a rough situation for him, but outside of that, it's always been really strongly in his favor. Whereas LDZ beat him 2-0.
Yeah, which, I mean, who knows how that game went, but it would have been very interesting to see what sort of, an upset that might have been for Twilight and how he's come back. Because what did happen to LDC? He ended up taking a bye, it looks like, with Scythe in Losers Round 3, so he had to drop out of the tournament. Maybe seeing LDZ come back up the ladder would have made a big difference, but as it stands now, I mean, that's all we're gonna get.
Yeah, so now going into this finals, the grand finals match is going to be Pugsy versus Twilight.
It is a best of 5 with a bracket reset if Twilight can beat Pugsy in the first best of 5. Both players I expect are going to be playing Bodvar, unless of course something happens in that first set. Maybe Pugsy loses it and Twilight's winning. Pugsy, I'd imagine, will probably switch characters if things aren't working out for him. But otherwise, I would expect both players to stick to their Bodvar mains.
Yeah, and I mean, we've been seeing a lot of Bodvar from particularly these top 3 players, just because they've always been Bodvar players. A lot of these players, they shifted over to Koji for a little while. That was one of the main things that we've been seeing from the more recent tournaments in the past several weeks, because everyone says Bo is incredibly strong. It's just a very versatile moveset, very safe, can command a lot of space in the air, very tough to punish, and especially with Koji, who has 8 dexterity, it lends itself very well to just kind of controlling the pace and spacing of the match.
If Pugsy lost his first set, I would expect him to switch to either Koji or Asuri in the second set. Pugsy is very comfortable with Asuri. Asuri has that high dex too, so that would absolutely come very much in handy.
Yeah, especially with a lot of the longer startup times that Hammer has outside of its neutral light. I feel like Katars could do really well in that matchup. So if Twilight isn't able to kind of, get his hands on one of the swords and keep it, the Katars could be a pretty good matchup against that, especially because a lot of its edgeguard opportunities come from the side, whereas the Hammer commands probably the most vertical space of any weapon in the game.
Without a doubt. And
it's insane to try and edgeguard that, and I feel like Katars fit that role pretty well.
Yeah, and we were discussing this earlier. Katars are an interesting weapon because they changed that down air, and, if Pugsy has been practicing his Katars, that sort of difference in how Katars have changed and how the down air has changed up the way they're played, if Pugsy can pull this pocket pick of Katars, that could really make a huge difference in maybe getting something new and fresh off of Twilight, who won't be expecting it.
Yeah, I mean, we saw he had a little bit of trouble adapting to Stardust's game plan in games 2 and 3 of their set. So changing it up is definitely going to be, I don't know, it would benefit him greatly going into this set against Twilight if he's able to shift from game to game. And with that, I mean, it really becomes the question of, we've seen a lot of immensely effective map picks.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I'm kind of wondering where these two players are going to lean going into it.
It seems to me Pugsy absolutely favors Thunderguard. Twilight, I don't see as strong of a pick with him, although he does seem to enjoy Mammoth Fortress a lot. I'm not sure if that's just because it's a solid map, or he does feel like he has some sort of advantage there.
Yeah, I know Pugsy does tend to do best whenever he has an area of open space to kind of run his game, run his aggression. He doesn't want anything getting in the way. Mm-hmm. So Mammoth Fortress definitely fits that, because you only have that one platform, and most of the time it's just extending the ground. Whereas Thunderguard fits kind of both roles a little bit, in that it has that top open expanse where Pugsy gets to just run his game, do what he wants. But then he also has the safety of, okay, if I overextend a little bit and get punished for it, I can make it back pretty easily because there's so many different routes I can take back to the stage.
Yeah. The developers were showing off a new map the other day, and I think it's pretty exciting. It's got a very Thunderguard-like bottom where it has this sort of open shenanigans area. Well, actually, it's not a shenanigans area so much as just an open area. Like, there are no set walls. It's more of a sloping outward. But above that is platforms and things like that. And so, we were talking about how Pugsy enjoys both the openness and the open bottom area. It'd be interesting if he would enjoy a map that did something like that, where the bottom area is open, but the top has all these sort of blocks and platforms.
Yeah, that would definitely be interesting, especially, going for a lot of those weapons that can command more vertical space. I mean, through platforms, Spear tends to do pretty well with the neutral air and the recovery, just being able to catch people through them fairly easily. And of course, as we mentioned before, Hammer. Yeah,
Hammer's vertical game is just incredible. And, everyone we've seen so far has been very aware of that. I don't remember which match it is anymore because there's just been so many, but I remember I want to say it was Magma Bob who did a recovery, or who tried to do a recovery, and he got totally read out by the other opponent who used a sword down air before the recovery's frames became active. And that without a doubt seemed like a straight punish. Like, I know you're going to do this because that is the best option Hammer has here, so I'm going to stop you before you get that chance.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really a lot of those key reads in situations like that, and, where we see a lot of the versatility of, particularly a lot of, like, the sword and hammer, and why Bodvar is one of the more popular picks for a lot of these players. as we've mentioned before, he's kind of like the box art character. He's your Ryu, he's your Mario, like, you know, he's never going to be bad. He goes between varying degrees of solid and pretty good.
Absolutely, and you know, everyone here is just super Bodvar. So as you may have heard in chat, guys, you know, Pugsy is busy getting some food because I'm sure, you know, this has been a pretty, I wouldn't call it a long tournament because the bracket isn't that big, but it's definitely been a stressful one. We've gotten some very close games, so give our players a chance to fuel up, and then once Pugsy gets back, we'll be able to get started again.
Yeah, and I always do like to give a shout out to the people running everything behind the scenes. I mean, you've seen Sparky and Duke doing their great commentary, you know, fantastic production value here. And then my co-analyst here, part of the Creed. Thank you for, you know, being here. But I want to give a real shout out to the main hero of the story here, Zenigan. He's running the bracket behind the scenes, making sure everyone gets paired up for their matches, getting there and everything. And, you know, I was so surprised to see Loser's Bracket already finished by the time that we ended some of those winners matches. Because the first time I looked, like, Loser's Bracket hadn't run anything yet. They were waiting for it to fill out a little bit more. And then it was done in almost no time flat.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, please just everyone give a huge thank you to Zenigan for running this behind the scenes, because it's really hard to coordinate all these matches, get everyone's scores reported in, get everyone in the right lobbies, figure out disqualifications and who doesn't show up. I mean, we're all super thankful for that.
Oh Dude, my gosh, is that what I think that is?
Piece by piece, what appears to be community colors code. The real question is, Metadev. Oh man,
my gosh!
You guys gotta go all the way into Brawlhalla to redeem that.
That's a Metadev drop. Yo, the scramble is real. Crash the Brawlhalla servers. Let's go.
Everyone's sticking that into Steam because they think it's community colors, but as you may know, Duke has all the Metadevs.
Wow, and you know, speaking of the devs you have met. Shout outs to them for giving the community spotlight on their channel here for this tournament.
Yeah, shout out to all the devs. Raiden today has a new community spotlight page on the Brawlhalla website where he basically showcases all of the art, all the videos, all the different content that everyone from the community has. If you guys haven't checked out the weekly community spotlight that Raiden puts out, you guys really should go to the Brawlhalla website, see all the cool fan art, check out everything. It's really great. All right, so with that, I think Pugsy is back. I think we're ready to go.
All right, thank you guys for your analysis, and I look forward to hearing what you say after this grand final. But with that, I'm going to switch over to Sparky. Sparky!
Yes, sir?
We are ready for this grand finals. Twilight versus Pugsy. Pugsy just got back. He finished up eating that little bit, and it looks like he's going to get ready to ban. I haven't been fully reading that. I trust Pugsy. That code was a metadev code, so good luck to whoever got it, because it was a metadev code. And I appreciate all you guys for your patience. Pugsy, he's been working hard, and he hasn't had time to eat all day, and he just needed a little bit, or else he wasn't gonna be able to finish out the set. And you know, we want players to be playing at their best possible, and so we said, you know what, 5 minutes to eat your whatever you want, that's fine. So with that, Pugsy is back. He's ready. Twilight's been over on the side. I told him he should be doing some push-ups and jumping jacks. He'll get himself pumped, start like pumping his chest. I don't know, like punching trees. I don't know what he does to get himself hyped. Watching My Little Pony, I know he's a huge fan, so maybe that's what he needed to do. But hopefully he's kept that aggression, that momentum, that excitement that he had, and he'll be bringing that into this. The grand finals versus Pugsy. Winner of this is going to get bonus points for winning, and we'll be able to take those points on to the next week tournament. Make sure you check us out next week. We're going to be here again streaming the tournament, and Pugsy's hovering on Roland. But anyways, we'll be here next week. Once again, huge shout out to TWK and Creed for their analysis. You're going to see them once again one last time after this match. Huge shout out to my buddy Sparky. He's my co-caster for this. I'm designated agent. You can check it out down below. You can see our Twitch names below us. Huge shout out to Zenigan. He's been doing all the behind the scenes stuff. Huge shout out to Dobrin, who did all of the huge graphics, and he even took time mid tournament to fix the part of the Creed graphics so it didn't say Parth of the Creed. Please forgive him. He's Russian. He doesn't speak English. Huge shout out to BMG once again. Huge shout out to Raiden, Redalus, and everyone who helped us set this up, gave us codes, and gave us the key so that we could stream on this. And huge shout out to you guys, the watchers and the players, for being around. And with that, I think we're ready. Any words you want to say, Sparky?
Pugsy is hungry. I'm hungry for this match.
Very succinct words from Sparky.
I don't want to talk. I just want to see it.
You just want to let's go. Let's do it. You're getting
go.
pumped. Part of the Creed put all of our Twitches in chat, so huge shout out to him. But we're getting ready to do it. Pugsy's ready. Twilight's ready. Twilight says 1 sec. I actually need to eat. That's what he's gonna say. He's gonna say, I'm gonna go. Give me like 30 minutes. But once again, huge shout out to everyone. We're going to have more matches next week. Some of the people who couldn't make it out this week said they'll be available for next week, so that should be exciting. Why is that making sounds? I thought I turned that off. I'm so sorry. Why is Twitch Alerts making sounds? Why is Twitch... Wait. I think I just hear it to myself. Is that... I don't know. I'm going to just mute the desktop audio. I don't even have Twitch Alerts open on this screen. That's so weird. What in the... All right, whatever. We're in. Let's go. Transition to the gameplay. This is Twilight versus Pugsy.
This is the first Lance that we personally have seen today.
It is. This is the first time we've seen Roland, and first time we've seen Pugsy play Roland.
Somewhere Amber is extremely excited.
I am sure, but Twilight right now has been on the receiving end of quite a few Lance plays, and that's Sair.
Big Sair under the stage.
And the neutral
looking for the
sig
horse
connects.
freeze.
Twilight not able to jump or dodge outside of it.
I like to think that Pugsy is playing with the photo sound pack right now. I really want that to be the case.
I mean, at first I was thinking it's purely for the 8 defense, but I think Pugsy, he's got that pocket pick. He understands Lance quite a bit, and it looks like he has made it back to the ground. He is safe and ready for more. Twilight gets the sidelight.
I think that 8 defense is going to play a huge part in this. We're seeing a little bit less aggression. We're still seeing some, but not as much as we did against Magma Bob.
I mean, I can understand the logic. If Twilight overcommits, he's not going to be doing as much damage per commitment, so to speak, as if Pugsy was playing maybe Bodvar or Hattori, where they're a little bit less defensible. But Pugsy with that downlight into a ground pound doesn't get the second ground pound.
Narrowly missing.
And there's the side air from Twilight. I liked that side air from Pugsy at the bottom of the map. It was a very anti-punish. If Twilight had tried to turn around and get a ground pound onto him, Pugsy was ready for that side air.
Absolutely. Because when you're that low to the map, you want to kill, so you're usually going to do a vertical move. And Pugsy was all but unpunishable there.
Really, really intelligent stuff. But Twilight in the red has been able to keep Pugsy off the map, racked up quite a bit of damage, but that 8 defense. Miss input from Pugsy, that ground pound. Not sure what that was about. Maybe a gravity cancel that didn't come out. Ooh.
Could have been a bait. Not sure.
That down dodge, immediate jump into a dare, just tricky stuff from Pugsy. Gets the side air, knocking Twilight off. Can he finish it off? No, doesn't get the nair. Ooh! Oh, and the
if that would have been a side
Twilight.
sig, it would have killed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Pugsy thought Twilight was gonna be right on top of him, but instead Twilight was a little bit to the side. Stomp into a side sig, but Pugsy answers back with a side sig of his own. Clears the mine. He's got the meteor in place. I doubt Twilight's gonna fall for it.
We usually don't see a lot of side sigs from Roland just because it has a lot of active frames, but they're very specific and usually leave you pretty vulnerable. A lot of people tend to favor the Lance down sig.
Yeah, I mean, the down sig has slightly better range, comes out very quick, and it doesn't have that punishability that when you're in that side sig and you're doing that upward angle. But it looks like it worked out for Pugsy. Twilight and Pugsy staying even in damage right now. Despite the 8 defense, Twilight is able to keep that damage on top of Pugsy. But Pugsy with these nairs, side sig not gonna connect. Trying to use that second swing of that lance. Oh! Mistimes the spot dodge, and he's safe. He's safe for now. Down sig not gonna connect, and Twilight punishes with that falling side air. He's gonna go for the dare get. Pugsy with that spot dodge tries to punish with the recovery, and now Pugsy is in trouble. He burned his recovery and didn't have the mobility to get back, and Twilight takes game 1 of this best of 5 set. If Twilight ends up getting the 5, or the best of 5, that is gonna be a bracket reset, and Pugsy's gonna have to do another best of 5 set against Twilight for all the marbles, man.
Ooh, a Scarlet pick. I don't know about this. I really like the Roland pick because Pugsy could pretty much trade 1-for-1 with Twilight, and that 8 defense would give him just enough because Twilight doesn't use a lot of SIGs. Usually he's very side air heavy, and it's going to take forever to kill Roland with a Sayer.
Scoop from Twilight immediately going for that hammer aggression. Scoop again from Twilight. I mean, I know you were faulting him for the Scarlet pick, but I'm sure Pugsy is comfortable with hammer. He's comfortable with lance from what we just saw from his Roland, and maybe that slight dex and that force is going to be what Pugsy needs. But right now, Twilight with a distinct advantage health-wise. Missing these dares. I'm not sure. I feel like Pugsy thinks that lance is the right option against Twilight, and Twilight is showing that it might not be. Pugsy going into the shenanigans. He's got the recovery if he needs it. Should be safe, but Twilight with a nice punish with that Sayer. And there's the dare onto the
Twilight
dodge.
with barely any damage on him.
I like that punish, man. Pugsy thought Twilight was going to go immediately for the dare. Twilight, out-thinking Pugsy, so to speak, reads the dodge and just stays above him, doesn't dare immediately, waits for the dodge and punishes with the dare, and that's going to give him the first stock. Twilight seems to be in Pugsy's head a little bit. But I mean, Pugsy's got games to burn if he wants to try out different options. Gets the ground pound. He's going to go into the shenanigans for no other reason than he can.
I'm not sure why Roland's lance was successful where Scarlet's lance isn't. Maybe Twilight was just a little bit surprised. We personally have seen 0 lance today until that Roland. Maybe it just took a game of getting used to. Maybe Pugsy just had an off first stock because he's doing some work now with it.
Yeah, that was a very good string from Pugsy. Finishes it off with the down sig, but he gets hit by the hammer toss, and I'm inclined to think Twilight can punish here, but it looks like he cannot, and Pugsy's gonna be able to get back to the outside.
Much more liked to see a hammer throw instead of the ground pound there to interrupt the recovery.
And Pugsy in a lot of trouble, gets the touch with his forehead.
I can't believe
that was
he just rammed his face into that wall, saying, "Give me my jumps back."
Pugsy,
right
I
now.
mean, that is some high level intelligence from Pugsy. Not a lot of people. Usually, you want to force like me personally, I would be forcing the lance into the wall, but Pugsy just said, "I'm gonna shove my face. It's part of my hitbox. It's gonna count. And it's gonna work." But Twilight answers back immediately with a dare. Pugsy calling in a weapon. Scoop.
We now see a pretty much dead even game.
Pugsy trying to get these nairs, but Twilight
Pugsy
sideline,
missing everything.
stomp, side sig.
That's the second time that Twilight has successfully used that combo against Pugsy this game.
Pugsy, he's got options. He's got the recovery.
That's it.
Twilight!
That's it.
No, he got it. He got the jumps.
I can't believe he got that. I think Twilight should be actively punishing the recovery before it comes out.
That was a good chase from Twilight. Wanted to block it. I'm inclined to think if Twilight had just stuffed the recovery, he would have won. But
Absolutely.
I guess it was a risk Twilight was not ready to take, and the stomp into the scoop for Pugsy. Can't get the Sair.
That Sair was so close.
Oh, the scoop. And Twilight takes
it
game
again.
Game 2 really close. I want to say Pugsy should be sticking with this Scarlet. It worked, but no. Looks like he's switching it up again. This time he is switching to Bodvar. And this should be who he's sticking with for the rest of the set. And it looks like they're just going Thunder Guard the whole way.
2-1 brawl.
Twilight first one to pick up a weapon, but Pugsy first one to get a hit. Gets a sidelight. Sidelight again from Pugsy, just racking up little bits of damage. Downlight string from Pugsy. Stomp doesn't get the recovery. Uh-oh. Pugsy gets the wall. Can't punish it. Trying to take a page out of Magma Bob's book. He's fine. That's like the only damage he's taken.
I think we're a lot more nervous than they are.
I know. He's like, psh, I've been counting my jumps. It's fine. But Twilight right now on the wall. Pugsy not able to get the down sig.
Pugsy getting the better of Twilight.
Twilight racking up that damage with these dares. Side air, and now this is where Twilight tends to excel. But Pugsy makes it back safe, gets a ground pound. Twilight's gonna make it out. Side air from Twilight.
We're seeing Pugsy Sair just a little bit early to where it's basically a fight of who Sair's last.
Pugsy makes it back, and Twilight not able to get the dare tip. Really close, and there's the downlight into a side air.
Pugsy weapon starved. The breakdance is gonna take him out.
Pugsy with the taunt,
holding it.
Wants it for max time. Ends up getting punished a little bit by not being able to weapon starve his opponent. Nice weapon toss into a downlight into a nair. Didn't want the full unarmed string. Instead, went for the nair, which gives him time to pick up the hammer. Ooh, punishes the ground pound, but Twilight's still alive. Gets a nice side air punish on the down air, and Pugsy has to respect. Ground pound onto Twilight. Can he punish again? No.
Twilight wisely staying up of the shenanigan zone. Going in vertically on hammer is almost all but a death wish.
Pugsy. Twilight. Pugsy not able to punish. Twilight went with that big ground pound, but there's the stomp into a side air, and Pugsy not able to finish it off. Twilight makes it back, has the bomb in hand. Twilight.
There's the nair. Pugsy in the lead, but only just.
Downlight side air from Twilight. Can he finish it off? Pugsy gets to the inside, immediately dares to redirect that force. Or not
Pugsy
the force.
waiting a very long time to use those jumps so that he can react in whatever direction that he needs to.
Pugsy. I mean, on one hand, some might say he's playing a little bit cheesy by going on the outside, but you saw those ground pounds. He was trying to turn that aggression onto Twilight whenever Twilight went for the punish, but now Pugsy is coming back up. We'll see if Twilight is able to finish off this stock just yet.
I'd say Twilight has complete map control right now, but Pugsy is turning that tide real quick.
Ooh, Pugsy.
Pugsy wisely using the hammer to protect his approach.
Sair needs 2 more, but Twilight's gonna make it back safe. Nice weapon toss. Pugsy not able to capitalize off of it. And there's a Sair from Twilight, should finish it off. Pugsy had so much damage, but Pugsy really stretched out that second stock. Twilight already in the orange, getting into the red right now. Mine. Ooh!
Wow!
That killed!
Player 1 wins.
Pugsy throwing that mine to bait the dodge, hitting that unarmed uppercut. that huge hitbox on that unarmed uppercut, catching Twilight. He was not ready for it.
He got played right there, but Pugsy, it looks like the switch to Bodvar. He was like, I'm gonna throw away 2 games. I still have a best of 5 set, and I'm about to win this first set anyways. But Pugsy with this Bodvar, it seems to be the correct adjustment. Pugsy sticking with his main, and we'll see how that works out for him here on
Pugsy
Shipwreck.
saying, you're gonna play Bodvar? Well, anything you can do, I can do better.
I can do anything better than Sidelight. Twilight with that neutral light onto Pugsy. Nice neutral lights from Pugsy. Downlight. Can he punish? Oh, that hammer. A little bit of a bop on the Pugsy. I don't think he thought that hammer was still active. But Twilight with these hammer stairs keeping Pugsy at bay. Dares from Pugsy are bouncing Twilight around. He hasn't been able to capitalize off of these bounces, but it doesn't matter. A downlight string is going to knock Twilight off.
Where's
Twilight.
the Sayer?
Pugsy's
Waiting
going
for
for
that
some
hammer
reads.
Sayer.
Can't get the scoop. He's trying to force Twilight into these moves. He's just doing a dare, expecting Twilight to come up, and there's the quick
There's the
Sayer.
Sayer.
Right into Twilight's face, and now Twilight a little bit behind.
Pugsy in orange has a little room to go before he's most definitely in kill range.
Weapon toss. And there's a downlight string from Twilight. Can he finish it off? On Shipwreck, it's a little bit easier to finish off stocks sometimes. Weapon toss. Doesn't get the nair. Both of them waiting for the right opportunity, and there it is. Downlight string. Pugsy finishes it with a weapon toss, but can't get the unarmed ground pound, and now Twilight should have this stock.
I'm surprised Pugsy just blew everything. I would have loved to see more aggression for Twilight there.
I think Twilight thought it was done and that he was clearing the board, but Pugsy able to barely touch the wall and the grab. He canceled
with the
down.
Stevenator.
Doesn't
He's gonna
even
take
care.
A fall.
That
Absolutely worth.
was a stock to lose, and it was 100% worth. 1-1, killing Twilight much earlier, but Twilight trying to get that unarmed string to answer back. Downlight from Pugsy gets the neutral light on the dodge and gravity cancel neutral light. Side sig not gonna hit. Pugsy is turning on, and Twilight doesn't have it. Pugsy takes game 2 over Twilight, and Pugsy is running away with it right now. If I was Twilight, I would be very phased, and I would be thinking about how to just shake off whatever is going on right now.
I guess those first 2 games were an experiment. A failed experiment, but an experiment nonetheless.
It looks like Twilight not going to take a breather, instead going straight in, and I don't know what Twilight can do at this point, because Pugsy is just absolutely dominant with this Bodvar.
I'm surprised we haven't seen a shift in playstyle from Twilight yet.
A little bit more spacey, Sari.
Yes. A little bit back to more what he used to have success with before.
I think we're seeing it a little bit. See him trying to respect Pugsy, and it is definitely working out for him, but Pugsy gets on top of him, gets 2 dares. And Twilight just wants to control that central area right now.
We are seeing a lot less edge guarding from Twilight. He'll kind of stay on the corner and he'll zone with neutral lights. We're not seeing him go in very much and try to get dare gimps or ground pounds like we did before.
I think that's just the respect. He knows we're on game 5, and if he doesn't make the run back here, then Pugsy's gonna run with it. But Twilight gets a sidelight.
There he is again, not going in on Pugsy when he has the health advantage and the weapon advantage.
I think it's respect for your opponent. He knows that one misstep and Pugsy could turn it around, get a ground pound on top of him, or even a couple dares, and that would be it. Stomp into a side air from Pugsy, but Pugsy not gonna respect, goes deep for the Sayer.
The Sayer for free.
Twilight throwing out these unarmed stairs. Could be enough, but Pugsy spot dodging it. Pugsy gets in underneath the Sair and turns it again onto Twilight.
Pugsy amazingly navigating around so many of these hitboxes that Twilight is throwing out.
It's really good movement from Pugsy that is getting around a lot of these Sairs from Twilight. Stock's relatively even health, pretty close. If Twilight can get a couple big hits.
Pugsy
Scoop
is
from
staying
Pugsy,
just in range where he can commit when he wants to, but doesn't have to.
Another scoop from Pugsy. Twilight gets the side air, and Pugsy makes it back up, using those Sairs to space out Twilight. Ground pound. There's the dare, and Pugsy tries to turn it around. Stomp! Oh, doesn't get the scoop. Sidelight from Pugsy. Scoop from Pugsy, and that will finish off the stock from Twilight. And now Pugsy, it's a red stock, so Twilight might be able to take it if he can get the hit.
We're seeing huge lack of punishment in pretty much all of these games where Pugsy has played Bodvar.
Side air from Pugsy is just going to give Twilight a little bit of a love tap. Can he get the recovery? No, doesn't even go for it. Instead, makes it back safe. Wants to hold on to this stock instead of go for the greedy play, but Twilight gets the ground pound.
Did Pugsy have a recovery?
I thought he did.
He may have just mistimed it.
Neutral air from Pugsy into a recovery,
Pugsy
into a side air.
Not afraid at all.
Makes the adjustments, doesn't care what the standard unarmed string is, can make up one on the spot. Stomp into a side air, and Twilight is visibly phased right now. Pugsy running wild, gets
absolutely
the final
all
Sair,
of that.
and that is gonna be it. Grand finals. Pugsy takes it, wins it out over Twilight. Really well played from Pugsy.
I can't believe, after what we saw, the Roland game was close, the Scarlet game was not, and then Pugsy just running it straight back on the main, on the comfort pick, on Bodvar, 3 in a row, completely dominating performance from Pugsy.
Absolutely. I mean, when you're struggling so hard with when you're struggling against his off picks, when he switches to his main, that is not a good sign. Without further ado, I'm gonna switch over to the analyst. Any final words do you want to say before we let the analyst talk for a little bit?
I kind of wanted to see Twilight go back to his other playstyle.
All right, well, let's switch on over. How is it going? We're gonna here. You guys are
an exciting first showing of the very first championship series week, and these last 5 matches, it was very interesting. Pugsy switching to Lance characters for the first 2 matches. I mean, I know I talked about him maybe changing things up because of all the Bodvars, but I did not expect him to change things up that quickly.
Yeah, it felt like he might have thought that Twilight didn't really know the Lance matchup. That's what it kind of seemed like in that first stock as Roland. But then Twilight was either able to figure it out, Pugsy started relying on some other moves. He had amazing recoveries with the Lance, but he wasn't able to find the kind of traction that he did in that first stock. So, going into that, quick 2 matches, it was looking like we were going to see another set sweep from Twilight as we had previously in this tournament, but Pugsy locking in Bodvar.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's possible with the 10 match, window that he had to work with, that maybe he decided, I'm going to experiment, use some Lances. But, after 2 matches, of course, things weren't working out. So he said, go back to Bodvar, go back to my roots, and just outplay Twilight. And that's exactly what he did. There wasn't anything sort of gimmicky or incredible about certain moves that he did. It was just straight outplaying everything Twilight made. The side airs, the downlights, some of these combos that were coming out of Pugsy, they were just incredible. The edge guards, overall, both players playing really, really well. They were both really close, but in the end, Pugsy came out on top.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw it right at the end there, especially. Pugsy's hammer pressure is unreal.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he had good reads on the swords and a couple good unarmed strings and everything, but the bulk of his commanding portions of each game stemmed from the hammer. And it was just really something to watch. I always love watching good hammer play.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's really interesting, hammer, a lance is known for being a really unique weapon, but I think hammer is also really unique just in the way its spacing works, with so much vertical control that it has that no other weapon really matches. The top players like Pugsy, Twilight, Magma Bob, all these other people, they really take advantage of that and know how to utilize the way that people enjoy going over or under certain legends during most plays. The hammer is able to punish that like nothing else.
Yeah, and props to Pugsy putting it to great effect and winning week 1 of the Brawlhalla Championship Series here.
And so for those of you unaware, this is going to happen every week. I believe it's a 5-week long series, with week 5 being basically a all-out bracket between all the other winners of the past series. Well, not necessarily winners. You have to basically keep a consistent record. And so you have to get more points by winning more matches. And so if you didn't show up to this one, don't be discouraged. Next week, you'll get a chance to play and get more tournaments. And so, I think if this tournament was any indication, this entire month is going to be really exciting set of tournaments, seeing all the best players come together and try to duke it out.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how these brackets shake out going into next week, now that these players have accumulated their points.
Absolutely. And so, we saw a few people who weren't able to show up today. That's okay. Show up in the coming weeks. You absolutely have a chance to make it to the final tournament.
All right, well, without further ado, I'm going to hop on over to Sparky, and we're going to say some final words. Thank you guys once again for analyzing. I'll see you guys again next week. Any parting words before I switch rooms?
That about does it for me.
Not quite. I hope you guys all enjoyed my green screen.
All right, thank you guys once again. Hey, Sparky.
Yes, sir.
Well, without further ado, that is it. Our grand final winner for week 1 is Pugsy. We've still got 3 more weeks of relegations, I guess you could say, matches, and then a grand final tournament that is invitation only for the top 16, and that grand finals tournament is for a position at is for a $750 prize pool. I don't know what I was saying, position, and as well as anyone who makes it to the top 16 gets MetaDev codes. So stick around, make sure you keep watching each week. Once again, I want to give a huge shout out to Sparky. His information is below. You can find him at twitch.tv/Sparky. You can find me at twitch.tv/DesignakedAsian. Huge shout out to TWK Smash and Part of the Creed. You can also find them at their Twitch channels, which is underneath their names at the analyst desk. Huge shout out to Zenigan, who was doing all the background stuff. Huge shout out to Dobrin, and huge shout out to BMG. Once again, thank you guys for watching. Anything you want to say, Sparky, before I finish it up?
Congratulations, Pugsy, for the first place. Congratulations, Twilight, for the second place. Congratulations, Magma Bob, for the third place. Keep your eyes on the Reddit. We will have point totals posted there soon, so you can see where everybody stands going into week 2. We will be back again next week. Same time, same place, better gameplay. It's going to get better week to week. We will see leaders rise, losers fall, and everything in between. I just want to thank everybody for watching. Duke?
Yeah, I mean, everything that has been said. So thank you guys once again. Hope you guys have a wonderful time. Go out and play Brawlhalla. You can go play Cupcake Cassidy. And thank you once again. And goodbye.